Hello everyone, welcome. Oh, wait. There you go. Anyway, yeah, welcome to the stream, everyone. Welcome to the stream. How you guys doing today? I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And, okay. Anyway, Nava Krista, welcome to the stream. How you doing today? Sweeting, welcome to the stream. How you doing today? Meow, welcome to the stream. How you doing today? Thrice, welcome. Oh, Thrice, you're here early today. What the hell? You're here early. That's new. And Marita Nari, welcome to the stream. Ayo. Yes, welcome to the stream. How you doing today? It's weekend. Oh, that makes sense. Anyway, Nava Crystal, you're new in this place, so yeah, welcome to the stream and welcome to the channel. Hope you enjoy the stay so far. Well, shit is not the word, but the correct word won't get you demonetized. Dude, I didn't get paid for this. You can say shit whatever you want. I don't care. You can say shit in my neighborhood. It's fine. Anyhow, not my usual thing actually. Not my usual thing to do watch along of like people's video or stuff like that. I think this close to a reaction video, but I don't know. Is this a reaction video though? Is this considered a reaction video? I don't know. But anyhow, yeah, tasting history. I must say actually, I'm really glad that Max let me actually like use the video he made. It's really kind of him to actually do it. Oh yeah, sitting. Yeah, hi. What's up? We react to bursts now. God, I hope I'm not doing this for like. I'm not doing this for like long actually. I don't want to do this for like, you know, as my job. Anyhow, next month Jenny actually cook stuff. Okay, funny thing you actually mentioned that I did cook something, but I'm pretty sure most people is not proud of what I did. I did cook something, yeah. Should I show them what I did? Actually, fuck it. I'm gonna show them what I did. Yeah, you know what? Yes, fuck it. Hang on. I'll show you since you're new. I'll show you what I did. Oh wait, I have the video on in the background. Okay. Give me a second. I'ma look it up. I think it's my short somewhere like that. I don't really remember. Also, yeah, that's Max. Should I put like the title of the video like below or something like that? Should I put them or what? I don't really know actually. Okay. Content. Where is it? It's in shorts. So best shorts ever. Yeah, right. It's gotta be around the summer. Shorts. Okay, I found it. This I'm not proud of what I did. I'm not proud of it. Yeah, I'm not proud of what I did. I'll show you. Give me a second. Nope. This one. Okay, change the window. There. Okay. I don't know if you see it, but oh my god, it's so stretched. Jeez. Okay. I'm gonna play the audio. Nope, that's not it. This one. Okay. Just a quick video I made for you guys. So earlier today that Ramsey asked me about the quesadilla, right? We talk about quesadilla in his chat. Like this. And this basically he told me that I will not make a quesadilla. So what I did was, if I tell you guys, there is this quesadilla specifically that can ruin his life. It's called quesadilla a la Kevin, and it was made by Kevin from The Office. So what I did was, I basically tried to recreate that, and that's basically this video is the result. I'll show you guys in a few minutes. Okay. All right. There you go. You happy now? You happy now? Culture. Well, there goes. You happy now? You get what you wanted, right? That's what you wanted. That's what you guys wanted. Okay. What was? Hang on. There. If you guys want to watch it, there. If you guys want to check it out. Oh, right. Ram is here. Hi, Ram. How you doing? You love the video, by the way. This brings you back some memory. Also, I wish you never touched the kitchen again. Yeah. Also, Ken Bush, welcome to the. Oh, Ken, how is you doing, by the way? It's earlier today. What's up? What's up? Yeah. What's up? What's up? What's up? That's Will as well. Hi, Will. Hi, Chat. Hi. How you doing? How you? She tortured cooking. I will have my retribution. No. Anyway, yeah, I think I should put the title of the video below. Should I put the title? I think I should actually. Yeah, I'll put some respect on time to teach Jill the real cook. Are you saying that I cannot cook? Is that it? I will not take this treason in my. I will not take this treason. Secretly was a tasting history video after all. Call with Jiri to traumatize her when. Nah. Anyway, I'm pretty sure the thing, this one, right? Yeah, there is like a title of that. I also am using VLC Studio if you no media player just in case you know. I cannot run the VLC Studio. I don't know what's up with that. So yeah. You know what? You guys know how I usually have like the game name downstairs. I'll just change it. What's the title of the video again? What did World War II soldier eat? Okay. No. Yes. Okay. Why am I looking? The title is literally right there. Right there. I am filled with pain. Hi, pain. How you doing? Anyway, let's get started. There you go.
Few things improve troop.
Oh, right. We don't have subtitle. I'm sorry about that because I downloaded the video. I don't have the subtitle. I'm sorry about that.
Morale better than a hot meal, even if the name of that hot meal kind of sucks. Like this favorite frontline breakfast from World War II, creamed dried beef on toast, better known as shit on a shingle.
It doesn't look as bad as I thought it'll be, actually. It's... Yeah. I mean, aside from like the puke-looking like porridge on top of it, it doesn't look as bad as I thought. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
So thank you to my Patreon patrons for constantly supporting this channel, especially on videos like this that'll probably get demonetized because I keep saying shit on a shingle.
Is that... Wait, is that... why he cannot say shit, actually? Wait, you cannot say shit or to get, like, demonetized? Is that... Wait. Wait. You cannot say shit and demonetize, okay. Probably fine.
This time on Tasting History.
Okay. They only allow Raccoon to say
so
the
I'm releasing this video on Veterans Day, or Armistice Day, or Remembrance Day, depending on where you are. And every Veterans Day, I remember my grandpa, Gramps, who used to tell me stories about when he was in World War II. He was part of the medical corps, and he would tell me these stories about when he was over in England and France and even in Germany just after the end of the war. And I credit those stories with giving me my love for history, because here I am, a 7-year-old playing with his micro machines, and this old guy is telling me about stuff that happened to a 7-year-old so long ago. But the way that he told the stories was so engaging and made it so personal that I was entranced, and I just loved him. I couldn't get enough. And so I guess you can kind of say that the reason that Tasting History is a thing is because of those stories that my veteran Gramps used to tell me.
Okay, funny thing actually about that, I wanna share you guys the same thing as well. My grandpa from my mother's side, right, was a veteran. He was a veteran, a medical officer technically, a veteran who how do you call it, was stationed in Borneo back then, right? And the funny thing was he has like a lot of story about like how do you call it, staying in Borneo, to the point that how do you call it? He was given a parrot by one of the natives in Borneo, and it's actually like one of the less how do you call it, like the memory that he actually like still recalled until like he's dead. The funny thing was, right? While he was stationed there, he actually like earned like some, not actually some. I don't like a lot of medals and stuff like that, and he gave it to like a lot of like his how do you call it, like children. My mom got one of them, and my mom gave it to my mom gave it to me, right? And the funny thing about that medal is that I have no idea where it went because I moved from my previous office to the current one right now. So what medal? I don't remember. That's the funny thing. I don't remember. But it's not gold. That's the thing. It's not gold. So that's that. Best shorts. Okay. Wait, give me a second. Oh, sorry, Rizka. Welcome to the cinema today. No profanity until 10 minutes. Oh, I'm screwed. If that's the case, I'm screwed. They eat potato and spam in World War II. Wait, spam as in like the can? Like the canned meat? The spam is like the canned meat? They have spam back then? I don't know. I don't actually know they have that. We aren't eating 80s-year-old memories. Got it. Alright. And my grandpa joined the German to call it the parrot outlived. Uh, yeah, the parrot actually like outlived him. That's the thing. Uh, how do you call it? So they used to live like in like the countryside, which is something that my mom and my dad actually picked up. Right, we actually like staying in like a countryside and stuff like that. Which is why if you actually like join my Discord channel, Discord server and stuff like that, I did mention that the convenience store close to my place closed down. No, not technically closed down. Doesn't stock root beer anymore. So I'm kind of screwed. I have to go to the city to buy root beer at this point. So yeah, I'm kind of screwed. Anyhow, where is the parrot now? Dead. It's dead. The parrot's dead. It's like 20 years ago. I don't know. This is just 20 years ago. So yeah. I'm currently in the army and getting out soon. Oh, nice, nice. They're actually like one of my friend and also like one of the viewer as well, called a Cruz. He was like in the South Korean army, right? And he's a corporal now. He said he's a corporal now and probably will soon be like out of the service. So yeah, that's that. We all have a long history of war. Well, war is mostly about history. Learning about history of how a certain thing happened is, you know, where you can learn and where you can take a lesson out of it. Basically that. You heard of shit on a shingle, but have you ever heard shingle in a shit? And now let's continue.
And so I figure what better way to honor my grandpa here on this Veterans Day than to make a dish that he might have eaten when he was in the military, even if he very purposefully left it out of the stories he was telling his 7-year-old grandson. Because there was no way my grandpa would ever say the phrase on a shingle. Or as the recipe from the US.
Okay, that's another thing I have to say as well. From what my mom said to me, right? My grandpa is a potty mouth. It's like a really huge potty mouth. But if you swear in his like general direction or like in his vicinity, you're dead. No, you're done. You're dead. Basically that. I think there's like a lot of things that actually there's like a lot of things that my grandpa actually like uh no something I inherit from my grandpa actually. I can name two things. One, I am a potty mouth. Yes, I am a potty mouth. It takes me like how do you call it? It takes me a while to actually realize that I am a potty mouth, but not in like how do you call it? Not like in the vicinity of my parents because that's something I'm actually afraid of. And second is that I can sleep almost everywhere. I did tell you guys that story. I can sleep almost everywhere, which is if you're in the military, that is something that you have to learn. You have to be able to sleep under any weathers, under any situation. You have to be able to sleep. Losing sleep is literally how you get killed. in like the war. So that's basically like two things that I inherit from my grandpa, something like that. So yeah, swears like a sailor, fight like a cow. Man, you fight like a bitch. What cooking good looking? Mars, come on, man. You don't have to flirt to me like that. Don't do that. Anyhow, let's go.
War Department in 1944 called it creamed dried beef, which for 6 gallons called for 7 pounds of dried beef, a pound of fat melted, flour, evaporated milk, water, and pepper. Separate beef into small pieces, mix melted fat and flour, stir until smooth. Mix milk and water, heat. Add gradually to flour mixture, stirring constantly. Add chipped beef and pepper. Heat to boiling point, reduce heat, and simmer about 10 minutes. Note, serve hot over toast. Now obviously, since this makes 6 gallons or 100 servings, I'm going to make a reduced quantity today. But I do think it's really interesting how they give the quantities in the original recipe. Besides pounds and gallons, they also measure in number 56 dippers.
What is dipper? Actually, I think Max is gonna answer that, but I actually wanna bring that up. So what the hell is a dipper? Anyhow, no, they have like a lot of like weird measurement, but oh, that's why American has like weird measurement. That's like their cultural thing. That's why they have weird naming on stuff. Because they don't have the proper measure. They don't use metric, right? It's a military cup thing. I remember having MRE for about a week in my training. Damn, I feel bad for your freaking stomach, man. I still have no idea what to say. You what? You what? You don't understand what centimeter? Dude, I don't understand why you don't understand what centimeters are. Like how long it is. Oh my god, I just choke on my own saliva. God. Dude, centimeter is freaking easy, man. Centimeter is literally 1 to 100. How did you mess up 1 to 100? How? How did you mess up 1 to 100? I'm American, born and raised. Okay? Look at your index finger. Okay, I'm looking at it. What am I doing now? 1 per 2 gallon of dipper now. That's a lot of sauce. Is it? Huh. Like, it's literally a 1. Metric system is literally 1 to 100. That is literally it. That goes from 0 to 100 real fast. That's it. A diameter of your index finger is about 1 centimeters. Oh, that's funny actually. Like, I don't get it. Why do people in America or like in the West use those type of thing? I know how to count it. I don't know how big. Like, okay, do you know how big a freaking cow is? The size of a like I say, like something the size of a tennis ball. How the fuck is it the size of tennis ball? How am I supposed to know that? How am I supposed to know that? A feet. Your feet on my feet doesn't. It's not the same. Then the same. Imperial system. Dude, imperial system was created by the British, and even the British doesn't use imperial. They use metric. I don't understand. Even the people that created doesn't use it because they don't need shit. Oh my god. Anyhow, pounds, right? Yeah. Okay, I don't understand what that is. What is a pound? What is an okay? I know ounce. I do know what an ounce is. What's a pound? No.
Like 1 pound of fat would be a half number 56 dipper because
Fahrenheit much better. I will not argue with you about Fahrenheit because Fahrenheit blow my mind. The only Fahrenheit I know is a book called Fahrenheit 451. That's literally it. And the only reason I know that is because that's the temperature where papers burn. That's it. 36 degrees Celsius doesn't sound hot at all. It doesn't. Well, it doesn't. No, it's not. What do you do? No, that sounds hot. That's where water boils. If water can boil, so is your blood. Can your blood boil? Would you like to find out? You don't. Why you bring that up? The imperial system is weird. It is weird. It is.
Because you wouldn't often have a scale on hand when you were out in the field, but you would probably have the standard quart-sized number 56 dipper. And the writing on the dipper was so standard that you could use it to make measurements as well. Another book specifies 1 cup of liquid comes to the...
Wait. Proper temperature measurement is Kelvin. Okay, now you're starting. Okay, now you're starting a Now you're starting a gang war right now. You provoke a gang war. 36 Celsius and 100 Fahrenheit are similar, I think. How much is I don't know about Fahrenheit actually. So about 100 Celsius is about that's 1/3. So 1/3 of 1/3 of 7, so that's 36. That's 30. Wait, 300 Fahrenheit is about 300 Fahrenheit is about I don't know. But one sounds hotter than the other. 1 kilogram of steel is the same weight as 1 kilogram of feathers. It's literally that. Anyhow.
Top of the date figure, 2 cups to the top of the manufacturer's letter, and 3 cups of liquid will come to the top of the US letters. I, of course, have no dipper, and I'm not making 6 gallons worth. So for a smaller portion, what you'll need is just over half a pound or 250 grams of chipped beef. So this is chipped beef or dried beef, and they come now in these little jars. You'll need 4 for this recipe. And it's basically ground, very salted beef that is then pressed in...
Why can't we all use the same thing? Well, welcome to human race. Do you like your face? Probably because how all of us have like different culture and stuff like that. Because we all have different culture. We have a different origin and stuff like that. People from one place will not have the same origin as the other. So that's why you use different subject and different language. Is how language works. You have different language compared to other people. The only reason you have the same language is either because you absorb that language or you get colonized. Welcome to Britain. Anyhow, I am curious. It's because America is number 1 at not making sense. Because imperialism. Welcome to imperial. Do not resist.
To a form, dried, and then sliced very thinly.
Okay.
And when you open it, kind of reminds me of the smell of a can of dog food when you open it. But that smell goes away, kind of. But it's all wrapped up like this, and they kind of remind me of Pringles. Yeah. So this is what you need for this recipe.
And you just eat it like raw.
2 tablespoons or 30 grams of fat. This recipe is not specific in what kind of fat, but in the cook's manual from 1910, which may be the earliest recipe for this dish, it says butter is preferred, so that's what I'm using. A heaping 1/3 cup or 40 grams of flour, 1.5 cups or 350 milliliters of evaporated milk.
I did heard somewhere that evaporated milk is really sweet. You cannot just chuck evaporate milk like normal milk. It will you will die from diabetes. That's the thing. I don't know if that's true. Can someone check that out? I don't know if that's evaporate milk or something like condensed milk. I don't know if it's evaporate or condensed milk. But you can one of those you cannot just chug it in. You will die. That's the thing. So no, that's Sweden. Oh, it's condensed milk. Okay, all right. In our science book, they teach metric, but they put parentheses what it means to be imperial unit. Also, hi Ripper, how you doing today, by the way? How you doing? I'm learning a lot from this stream. Nice.
1.5 cups or 350 milliliters of water, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and a few slices of bread for toast. So
bread.
The recipe from 1910, which was probably used during World War I, also includes parsley and uses beef stock. It also uses 15 pounds of chipped beef for 60 servings rather than 7 for 100 servings like the World War II version. So it was 4 ounces per serving, and then by World War II it was just over 1 ounce per serving. Just thought that was interesting. But to make the World War II version of SOS, chop the chipped beef into small pieces and then peel everything apart and put it into a bowl and soak it with some water. Some old recipes say that the beef is so salty that it needs to be scalded in boiling water. I don't think the modern version is as salty, so if you soak it for 15 or 20 minutes, that's going to be just fine. While it does, mix the evaporated milk and water together and heat it over low heat.
Wait, I don't understand. What is evaporated water? I almost said evaporated water. Evaporated water is just steam. Okay. What is evaporated milk supposed to be? I don't understand. What is the difference between just like normal milk and like evaporated milk? You what? You did what? What? I think it's like milk powder. What do you mean? I teleport. You told me to. It's just milk with less water content. Condensed milk. Evaporated milk has less water in it. So it's just pure milk. Condensed milk is just milk. So what's the difference between evaporated milk and condensed milk? What's the difference? I don't know. I don't speak American. It's just milk drink. That's it. I don't fret myself upon what kind of form of milk I'm drinking.
Then separately melt the butter over low heat in a pot and add the flour and whisk together. Let it cook for about a minute, then slowly pour in the hot milk mixture. You want to constantly be stirring and let it cook for 3 or 4 minutes while it thickens. Then whisk in the pepper, then finally add the chipped beef. Then bring...
Raccoon sees milk, raccoon drinks milk. Listen, man, the lesser you fret upon what form of things you eat, you drink, the things you dress, the happier you get. The lesser you think of things, okay? That's why single-minded individual is, easy to please and easy to anger. I'm not saying single-minded individual is stupid. I'm just saying it's easy to change their emotion. You know what I'm saying? Those milk nutrient? I don't know. What about powdered milk? I just like lick my finger and just like put my finger in the powdered milk and just like suck it up. That's literally what I did. Usually it makes my finger really dirty and I have to wash them, but what the hell? That's tasty, What am I supposed to say? So monitor in small volume, therefore you can carry more milk while carry less liquid, which is important when you're in a war. Oh, look at that. Evaporated milk, known in some countries as unsweetened condensed milk, is a shelf-stable canned cow milk from which approximately 60% of the water has been removed from the fresh milk. Oh, look at that. You learn something every day.
The pot to a boil and then turn the heat down so it just simmers for about 10 minutes, and it'll thicken up even more during that time. Okay. Now, one of the things that actually inspired me to do a video for Veterans Day was a conversation that I was having with an old friend that I used to know in New York who now runs a website called veteranlife.com. The site is dedicated to providing veterans and military families with different resources and benefits that they might not otherwise know of. And it actually also has a lot of wonderful things for civilians, because I am about as civilian as you can get, and yet I spent time on this site because they have a whole area of military history. I read a wonderful story about the Navy's ice cream barges
what the hell?
in World War II. They were basically
hold on.
floating refrigerators in the Pacific that provided ice cream to the sailors.
Dude, this is basically like you roll in the neighborhood and you see like an ice cream truck. This is literally it. Everyone just rolling into it. God, I miss eating ice cream from ice cream truck. Why do they don't do that anymore? There's like one childhood memory they can have. Why not bring that back? Damn. Life used to be like a lot happier, right? Life used to be a lot happier and stuff. God, I miss being a child. We used to have ice cream machine in our dining facility. Now the ice cream thing is broken. The ice cream machine always broke.
And I think that is going to have to be the topic for a video in the future. But for now, let's talk about the men who would have been making that ice cream, or more specifically, on a shingle.
Correct.
So whenever discussing a topic as large as American military cooking during World War II, There are so many variables and situations that there are going to be exceptions to everything and exceptions to the exceptions. There was fighting going on all over the world, and there were different levels of preparedness at any given time, so even the military's best laid plans often went awry. But in general, this is what things should have been like if you were cooking in a field kitchen. Typically, each company of about 150 to 200 men would have their own field kitchen with maybe a half a dozen cooks. With some help, they could set up the entire kitchen in under 30 minutes. The goal
That's
was to have the
efficient.
kitchen close to the men that they were feeding, but depending on a lot of things, terrain, the proximity to the enemy, sometimes they could be 100 yards back or 10 miles back. The nice thing about being further back is then they could often team up with 3 or 4 other kitchens to become a battalion-sized kitchen. Also being further back meant that they would be less likely to be the target of enemy fire, so that they could maybe do some cooking during the day, because if they were too close, then all the cooking had to be done before sunup and after sundown. Now the kitchen could be anywhere from a nearby building to a tent to the back of a truck, but they all had the
Okay, so if you put it behind the truck, that's actually a pretty good idea, I think, because you basically make a mobile kitchen. But the thing is, I don't think you can cook while the truck is driving. Made by Hershey. Damn, it's the Russian with the chocolate. I don't think you want to eat the chocolate from an MRE. I'm just saying, as much as I like chocolate, actually, come to think of it, I like, as I grow older, right? I begin to have like a, I used to have like a fondness for chocolate, but as I grew older, I begin to have like a dislike for chocolate. I don't know. It's my body is like begin to like rejecting sugar. I think there's something wrong with me, but yeah, my body is basically rejecting sugar, and I don't really like sweet food anymore. My tooth hurts when eating them, and my stomach doesn't feel right after eating them. So yeah. I think in World War II, there's a warship holding a sailor from different depending ice cream for exchange. Damn. I will say this, guys. I will say this. If you know, if you're demanding ice cream as an exchange, you're really good. You're one damn negotiator. I'll agree with that. If you are just asking me that, I'll just agree. Raccoon reject sugar apart from root beer. What's wrong with that? Are you saying that is a bad thing? What's wrong with that?
same equipment. Most important was the gasoline-powered M1937 range stove.
Huh.
It was very versatile and could perform all of the functions of any
Oh, there's a
stovetop
chicken.
and oven in a normal kitchen. They were, of course, rather compact, but usually a company had 2 or 3 that they could work with. And one training video from World War II said,
You lose your oven, take a couple of barrels, cover them with clay, and bake your bread.
Now, some of the other equipment included large immersion heaters that could heat up a barrel or even a huge tub of water rather quickly that could be used then for cleaning dishes or for making food and for taking a hot bath, preferably using
nice.
new water. And speaking of water, when it came to drinking water, it needed to be purified and then was kept in a Lister bag. This was meant to distribute purified water for up to 100 men. Then there were Mermite cans. These were insulated containers, usually 7 gallons, and meant to hold 3 or 4 inserts. Like a giant thermos, they kept things hot or cold and were often used when the kitchen was far from the front line. Food could be prepared at the kitchen and then put...
You know, sometimes if you see things like this, you begin to realize that most of like humanity, like innovation, right? It comes from desperation. Like when you think about it, right? Some of the things that people made, or like invention that people make, it came from their ingenuity on how they can how do you call it, provide doing stuff that people will not usually do. For example, I did read somewhere about like something called TV dinner, right? There's something called TV dinner, which is basically like food on a tray that you can put on like a microwave, and then once it's done, you just eat it straight away, and just like the thing you throw, right? The funny thing about that, right, is that the fact that TV dinner was used to be something that airline, like in an airplane or an airliner, give to the customer, like the passenger of the plane, for feeding, because they put in a tray and once they eat, throw it away. Easy as that. But the thing about that that airliner food is that it was used to be a thing for the Navy. Something for the Navy, like during the war. They just like cook it in the ship and the trades like throw it away, basically. So whatever convenience you might have now, it can be traced back to people using that for the military purpose as a, how do you call it, like a way, as a way, like it's a how do you call it, a desperate attempt of innovation. That is literally what they make of. So yeah, humanities as a species evolve out of necessity of like winning against the other. So at some point, I feel like if we somehow find a way to like make something like a string wheel or achieve peace, like world peace, I'm just saying, right? It's just my theory. If we somehow manage to reach world peace, there is a huge chance, or maybe slim chance, that it could be, I'm not sure, that we will not invent anything else because there is no reason to. We already achieved what we want to achieve, so when you already did 100%, what are you gonna do? So that's basically it. I don't really know. At some point, humanity stopped doing anything, like doing innovation, but there has to be a outside push, outside force to do them. It depends on your branch and job heavily. True, true. Also, Alchem starters, welcome to Cinema today. Yeah, like my 3 ingredient spaghettis comes from my lack of ingredient. Yeah, that's true. I had to cook, how do you call it? An omelet yesterday, and I don't have like much of ingredient. Guess what I put? I put cucumber, like dice, inside of the egg. I put tomato, which I also ate half of them. I just like munched on them. And then I put ramen. I put ramen seasoning on the egg. It did not taste good. Like at all. It tastes horrible. But hey, it's fulfilling, I suppose.
Put into the containers, into the Mermite can, put on a truck, and brought to the front line to serve the men. But if you were doing this, you really wanted to pay attention to which Mermite can you took, because some were labeled with ETO blood bank, with blood.
Oh my god. Okay, imagine you just opening it, just blood. Just blood. No. Guess blood's back on the menu, boys.
Meant for transfusions given near the front lines. Mixing those up would be a mistake you would not make twice. But assuming that you got the right can, what kind of meals are you loading them with? Well, officially, you have very little say in it. Especially starting around World War II, there was a big push to make sure that the troops were getting
fuel.
enough of the right minerals and vitamins. And so dishes and entire menus were created by nutritionists back in Washington. And in one video from 1943 about the nutrition program, they talk about how they started out by examining the diets of the enemy armies. The Japanese were supposed to have extreme energy given to them by a simple handful of rice, and
The Nazis are supposed to have a Superman vitamin pill.
though the attempt at replicating the effects of this pill with mere vitamins did not really work, because actually this superhuman pill was something called Pervitin.
Also called as methamphetamine. Yes, I read what it says, but I know the context of what they given. It is, yeah. They gave the German army meth, yeah. Is crystal meth 96% pure? That's what I heard. Anyhow, how do you call it? Animal blood or human blood? I don't think you want, if you're bleeding in the ground, like in a war, I don't think you want to be injected with the pig blood. As much as their DNA is close to us, I don't think you want to be injected with pig blood. I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying. Remember a game in space that mechanic was ship had blood for fuel? What? Huh? I don't. Will, are you alright, man? Are you okay? Dude, you heard of the Met King soldier? He survived. There was a dude who took a triple ski through the Russian camp. Yeah, there is one. He's the guy that bring all of their like medical supply and stuff like that. So he got like, he and his like platoon, I suppose, like got ambushed and stuff like that. And then he ride off to like the top of the mountain, eating like raw wolf meat or something like that he killed, after he took all of like their mat and stuff like that, and he got back, he lost about 20 pounds of weight, and he left. One of these picture, actually, I saw like one of his picture, and it's like him wearing a suit, and it's like both of his like eyeballs almost like got out of his eyes. So yeah, like it's just blew out of his eyes. So yeah, I have a hereditary defective strains of anemia that doesn't affect my body skin enough to cause by me from giving blood. Well, you have my sympathy, my dude. You have my sympathy. I mean, I never give my blood considering I have like low blood pressure, so I don't really want to do that. So yeah. Anyhow, what does it say? Petrifin, methamphetamine, hydrochloride, 1 cc intramuscular subcutaneous odor, like some intravenous injector. I would assume it says that intermuscle subcutaneous odor. I took three class three no I took like 3 semester in like German class. I have no idea what this means. I forgot already.
Which had methamphetamine that
See?
would give the Germans a lot of energy if short-lived. Some say that the Blitzkrieg couldn't have happened without Pervitin because some soldiers had to stay up for days at a time.
Raccoon certified
While
German.
vitamin B might have not replicated the effects of Pervitin, the military did put together a top-notch diet plan for the cooks out in the field to follow. Menus for dinner could include chicken a la king with lyonnaise carrots and an apricot upside-down cake for dessert. And all of the ingredients would be dried or salted or otherwise preserved and shipped all the way from the US to the front lines all over the world. But of course, most of these ingredients never actually made it to where they were going, or at least not in a timely fashion, so you didn't have everything at once, so the field cooks usually had to cobble something together with what they had available. Though depending on their location, that could be something pretty nice depending on where you were. When the 10th Mountain Division was in Italy in 1945, Corporal John Stone said, "We used lots of fresh Italian ingredients, as much as we could no matter what we were cooking. We also learned to cook a lot of pizza. This woman and her daughter, they taught us how to do it right." You made do with what you had, and many times that actually meant field rations. Basically, if you were near the front, at least one meal a day was going to be pre-packaged field rations. And for some troops, it could be every meal, every day, for days or even weeks on end. Now, I want to do a whole video on the field rations of World War II and how they evolved into the modern MRE, or meal
cheese
ready to
tortellini,
eat.
vegetarian.
Steve MRE, who actually eats these old foods. I'll put a link to where you can watch him eat actual rations from World War II. But since it was part of a cook's job to make sure that everyone had the field rations that they would need, we should touch on it now. So there are lots of types of field rations that you could get depending on where you were and at what point during the war you were at. But between 1942 and 1945, the two most common were the C ration and the K ration. The C ration was 3 meals, each made up of an M unit or meat unit and a B unit, which was the bread or dessert. The M unit was the main dish. You could have beef stew with peas or a canned meat and vegetable stew. At the beginning of the war, there was pretty much only different stews. But later on, you might have meat and spaghetti and tomato sauce, eggs and potatoes, or pork and beans. Then the B unit had some hardtack. Though it was supposedly softer and easier on the teeth than that of previous wars, the biscuits being made of soybeans, wheat, egg, and lard.
Pretty tasty biscuit.
Then there'd be some coffee powder or sometimes lemon drink. Then there'd be some sugar, salt, maybe chocolate, and often cigarettes and gum.
Vanilla caramel, old gold. Oh, those are cigarettes. I thought it was like chocolate bar. Those are cigarettes. Oh. Fucking they roll a screenshot as a firearm. Tell them that, you know, the name is in the word, it's fire. If you gonna shoot the gun produce fire. If the gun doesn't produce fire, it doesn't, you know, launch the projectile, doesn't launch the bullet. I don't know how a slingshot produces fire, but, you know, You do you, buddy. You do you.
All told, the 3 meals provided 37 to 3,800 calories per day and could be eaten cold, but were better when they were cooked. Now, the sea ration was a good amount of food and was quite varied, but it was heavy. And so if you were remote or a paratrooper, you would get the K ration. They weighed less, partly because they had less calories. They had 2,830 calories per day, and were supposed to be much less edible. Things like the fatty pork loaf and the maltose and dextrose tablets would often just get thrown out by the troops. The thing is, the K ration was meant to be used for no more than 5 days, but there are stories of soldiers living almost exclusively off of them for weeks at a time. One unit, known as Merrill's Marauders, lived almost exclusively on K rations for 5 months in Burma. And after 5 months of fatty pork loaf every day, imagine how happy they would have been to walk into a field kitchen and be offered something like a plate of hot on a shingle.
Yeah.
So once everything is simmered for about 10 minutes,
right.
toast your bread and then ladle the creamed beef onto the toast and serve. And here we are, World War II creamed dried beef. I'm gonna kind of spread it around here on the shingle because I feel like they gotta go together. All right, here we go.
I can feel the crunch. Yeah. Well, how does it taste, Max?
Oh, not bad.
No, not bad. This says.
All right.
What is
It
that?
needs the shingle. The toast is really necessary.
What is it? This basically. Wait, hang on. Let me refer that. So that's basically just like.
And then ladle the creamed beef onto the toast.
Okay, that's he says. It's cream beef, cheap cream beef, and to like toast. I think that's what Max says. I don't have the subtitles, so I don't really know. I won't close my eyes to it. Well, that's what he said. Hang on, where was he again? I think here.
On the shingle, because I feel like they gotta go together.
I almost got. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I almost thought Max gonna like dissect the meat. So like he just put the meat on a spoon and eat it like the meat first, and then like the bread. Because here's the funny thing. How do you call it? My brother, right? I have a brother. My brother has a really weird way of eating things that is like laid on like bread or like how do you call it? Any types of like platter. For example, when we like go to like pizza or something like that, he pick each and every like pieces from the pizza and eat it like individually. He doesn't like eat it like you grab the pizza and just like eat it with like the bread itself, like the dough itself. He picked like the pepperoni, he picked the mushroom, he picked like the cheese, and eat them individually. He doesn't eat all of them at once. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, seeing that since we were like young, right? Because he been doing that for like years now, since we like kids. He's been doing that since we like young. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it still traumatized me. It the way he just like pick each pieces of the pizza and eat it one by one, it traumatized me. Yeah. I don't need to live to see this. I don't need this in my life. So yeah.
All right, here we go.
All right. Yeah, I can hear the crunch. I can feel the crunch in that thing.
Oh, not bad.
Mm-hmm. He has never seen pizza before, I guess. He did.
Right.
No, he did. We did. He just really weird
It needs
about
the shingle.
food.
The toast is really necessary for the texture because once the toast kind of had softened, the texture of the actual beef, it's not terribly pleasant. It's just kind of chewy.
It's
That
beef,
said, the
of
flavor
course.
of the whole thing, not that bad. In fact, it actually reminds me of the gravy that my grandpa used to make, though he would put it over biscuits, and it was made with bacon fat. So if you want to make this with bacon fat, it is quite good.
Barbaric.
That said, the flavor is good. It could use more spice, probably, some more pepper. I mean, it's a pretty small amount of pepper for that quantity that they used. So you could add more pepper. You're not being rationed, hopefully. What I would think is actually really good is just a different meat. Like ground up sausage or cut up bacon or something like that, something that just the texture is a little more pleasing to the palate. That said, when you compare it to a lot of military foods, it's not that bad, especially the older military foods out in the field. This one, I could see looking forward to it. Anyway, if you are a veteran or in the military or a part of a military family or just interested in military history and lifestyle, make sure to visit veteranlife.com. And for those of you...
You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go there later on. I'm gonna see what's up they have like currently after this. I'm gonna go check it out.
Lucky enough
after
to
the stream.
have a grandparent still around, even if they weren't in World War II, go ask them to tell you a story because I'm sure that they would love to. And
both of them dead.
You'll appreciate it when you're older. So don't forget to like, subscribe, have a fantastic Veterans Day or Armistice Day or Remembrance Day, and I will see you next time on Tasting History.
Okay, that's one video done. Next. Give me a second, I'll check on it. So that's the Second World War. I actually have like 4 category. The Second World War, the first one, the Civil War, and then somebody in medieval because I don't know what medieval food looks like. So yeah. Anyhow, gonna look it up. Please set a playlist. I don't know if there is a playlist. Okay, on the queue. See, my dad cooks. He's really good at it. Huh. My grandpa used to cook for like 4 kids, basically 4 scrap. She is a master. Well, gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. There you go. Next one. What's the title for this one? Christmas in World War II. Okay. Gotta change the title. Give me a second, guys. Nope. Is this World War I or World War II? No, it's World War I, okay. I cannot put the whole title. Well, I guess this is good enough, I guess. Alright. I cannot put the whole title. I'm sorry, Max. Okay, is it like, did I mute it? No, I didn't. Okay. Alright, so Christmas in World War II. Okay.
Christmas dinner in the trenches of World War I was rarely as festive as it was back home.
Wait, I just realized that guy, this guy is wearing the Adrian hat. This guy is wearing the Brody hat. Yeah, actually, I did talk to, how do you call it, Gaby, like, earlier today, right? Like, back when, like, America first joined, the First World War, right? Because they initially doesn't join it. Back when America first joined the war, they don't have, like, proper helmet for, like, the war itself. So, the French and the British give them, like, the helmet they gave to, like, their soldier. It's either the Brody helmet or the Adrian helmet. And I did tell Gail about it, that the Adrian helmet is like the basis of what they make for mining helmet, which is also later on evolves into construction helmet. That's why they look the same. So yeah, that's little history that you know. I just like look at it. So yeah. Anyhow, continue.
Christmas dinner in the trenches of World War I was rarely as festive as it was back home, but almost every British soldier could count on a slice of
There's a
Christmas
Pikachu in the
pudding,
background.
even if that pudding was pretty basic due to wartime rationing. So thank you to Cometeer for sponsoring this video as I make a ration-friendly Christmas pudding from 1915, this time on Tasting History.
Like, working on the Adrian helmet. So yeah. We just don't worry.
World War I was hell on earth.
Oh my
which
God.
made things like celebrating Christmas Day all the more special.
Oh, there's a
for
pickle
the
hop.
troops on the front
There's a
lines.
pickle hop.
Some
Oh my God.
celebrations were ones for the history books, like the famous Christmas truce of 1914, when the German and Allied troops came out of the trenches to play football in no man's land, that desolate space between the lines which was a tangle of barbed wire and shell holes. But that was a one-time event. More often, the day was pretty routine. On Christmas Day, we were in the firing line and were served 1 slice of pudding and 7 dates. But it was so cold, and we were always wet. So while some British troops got to enjoy big lavish dinners of turkey and potatoes and dressing, most only had a slice of plum pudding to break up the monotony that was their daily ration of bully beef and hardtack. And while some of these puddings arrived in a tin, many were packages from
That's
home,
this.
lovingly
Okay, I'm gonna be
steamed
honest
by
with you guys.
mother
That heart attack thing is like freaking jump scare. It just yeah. I didn't expect that, to be frankly honest. It's just a jump scare.
and wives and sisters to send to their boys at the front. But with the
Mm-hmm.
war came rationing of many of the ingredients that made a Christmas plum pudding so rich. And so in November of
The
1915,
bystander.
the Bystander published several recipes that neglected the more hard-to-find ingredients. Like this
Mm-hmm.
recipe for cheap Christmas pudding. Half a pound of finely chopped suet, 3/4 of a pound of
The hell is a
raisins and
suet?
currants, a half pound each of flour, sugar, potatoes, and carrots, 1 nutmeg, 2 ounces of
The hell is a
candied peel,
nutmeg?
a little salt, and cinnamon. Grate the potatoes and carrots raw and add them last. It is an improvement to use half flour and half breadcrumbs. This quantity makes 2 large puddings, which must be steamed 9 hours. So it's quite different from most pudding recipes, which have either egg or cream or at least brandy to give it
It
some
sounds like
moisture.
slamming doors
This
together.
has no liquid added, so I'm guessing it's just the carrots and potatoes that are going to give it any kind of moisture. That said, I'm going to guess it's going to be pretty dry as well, so you'll want something to drink with it. And in the trenches, that probably would have meant coffee. And it's really too bad
Hey,
that
coffee.
they didn't
I
have
got coffee with
Cometeer,
me.
our sponsor today in 1915, because making their coffee is the easiest thing ever. See, Cometeer is brewed coffee that is flash frozen and delivered to your home, and it doesn't require any machine to make, so it is perfect when you want a cup of coffee at home without any hassle. And for iced coffee, which is what I like to drink, it's just ice water, the melted or defrosted coffee, and stir. You're done. But the real question is, does it taste good? And the answer is absolutely. In fact, I was kind of pleasantly surprised at how fresh brewed it tastes. It's really wonderful. So I am definitely a Cometeer coffee convert. In fact, I've also started using it in coffee cocktails. And for a limited time only, they are giving $40
I'm pretty sure this
off of your
ads is
first
already
order
gone,
at
but oh
cometeer.com
well.
when you
I'm just
use
playing
my
it, and
code
I'm too
OPRA
lazy
link
to
in the
like
description. It
go.
is seriously worth giving
Yeah,
a
I'm
try.
too lazy
Now,
to go
other
forward.
than the coffee, what you'll need for this pudding recipe is
Okay.
1 cup or 120 grams of suet,
I don't know what
1/3
that
cup
is.
or 170 grams of raisins and currants, 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of breadcrumbs,
There's that
1
long
cup of
over,
brown
yep.
sugar, 1 heaping cup of grated potatoes, 1 heaping cup of grated carrots, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 2 tablespoons or 28 grams of candied peel, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now I've cut all of the amounts of the original recipe in half because it is for 2 large puddings and I just want 1 large pudding. But if you want 2, double it. So start by mixing all of your dry ingredients together in a large bowl, basically everything but the potatoes and the carrots. Once everything is well mixed, then you can add the potatoes and the carrots. And like I said, this is where a lot of the
Heart
moisture is going to
kill.
be coming from, so don't squeeze any of the liquid out. Keep it all in. Once everything is completely mixed, then you can prepare your pudding basin. You want to butter it well and then cut a circle of parchment paper the size of the bottom and butter it on one side and then set it in butter side up. Then pour in your batter, gently pressing it down and smooth the top. Then we come to the tricky part, creating a watertight seal around the
I
pudding.
just realized there's
To
a
do that,
Brody
take
helmet
a large
in his
square of
kitchen.
parchment and lay it on top of a slightly larger square of aluminum foil, and
Okay.
then fold them both over and back to create a sort of crease in the middle that will allow for some movement when the pudding expands. Then set this on top of the pudding, parchment side down, and wrap it around the rim. Then tie a string around the rim as tight as possible.
What is the heart
It
attack?
really
That thing
helps
that
if you
he
have a
smacked
proper
together.
pudding basin for
That's the
this
heart
because
attack.
the rim tends to stick out further, so it can really grab onto that string, which you're going to want. Then trim the edge of the parchment and tuck the foil in under it to form the seal. Finally, make a handle by looping another string through the string that's tied around the rim and make sure that it holds so you can easily lift it without the string coming undone. This is the part that scares me the most whenever
It's just
I
biscuit
am
no water.
making a
Yeah,
pudding.
exactly.
But so far, I've never lost one. So far. Then set the pudding in a pot and pour boiling water in it until it comes about 2/3 up the side of the basin. Then set it over medium heat, put the lid on, and let it steam for 9 full hours. Every hour or so, you're going to want to
Wait,
add probably
what?
a little bit more boiling water. If it goes
So
too
there's
low,
no
then
water
you're
in
frying
the
pudding
thing.
and not steaming it. Now, I am really curious how this is going to work out because the mixture is so much drier than any pudding that I've ever made, especially a Christmas pudding like the Victorian plum pudding that I made in the episode on Christmas puddings. That was a figgy pudding with eggs and brandy, and those things were hard to get during World War I. So I don't know how or even if this is going to work out. I really imagine that it's just going to crumble when I take it out of the steamer, which after 9 hours will be very discouraging.
Steam bread.
But yeah, we will find out together once I tell you a little bit more about what Christmas dinner was like during World War I.
All right. Well,
as a British soldier during World War I, the quality of your Christmas dinner would depend on a number of things.
Oh, yeah, what's up?
What front were you on? How close
It's a
to the
micro.
front were you?
What?
And at what point...
Also, the last time, welcome to the stream. How are you today? Hello, what's up? We just watch along, so yeah, I first say, what did I miss? Well, we're making pudding with no water. I know that's fucked up, but hear me out.
During the war was it? Because as the war went on, the quality of Christmas dinners declined. But at that first Christmas
we didn't
dinner
have resource.
in 1914, there was a definite concerted effort to bring the Christmas spirit to the boys at the front, especially if you were an officer. I went up to see the Lincoln Colonel, and there I found the second in command and the adjutant sitting down to a jolly good Christmas, which they'd sent
Jolly
across
good
and told me to
Christmas,
come
yeah,
and
that's
join.
that's
We
British,
had
alright.
roast pheasant and plum pudding and plenty of rum. Of course, the Colonel could always get rather more than the ration. No, we had a real slap-up meal. But even many of the enlisted men that first year wrote home about dinners that included ham and roast beef, potatoes, asparagus, parsnips, mince pies, fruit, nuts, and puddings. Some even got turkeys, even if they had to cook them themselves. First Christmas we had, someone got a turkey, but I don't know where they got it from. But we made a trough in the ground.
Well,
and
they
put
got
a
him
fire in it,
correct.
and then put some iron bars across the top and laid the turkey on the top. It was a sort of barbecue thing, you know? And if you were at the very front line and couldn't sit down to a full Christmas dinner, you might be lucky enough to get a care package from home or even from the royal family. Around 400,000 Princess Mary boxes arrived at the front lines by Christmas 1914, and there were a great deal more delivered in the weeks and years after. These were brass boxes
Is it
engraved
good?
with
Try
an
pudding
image
at
of
least. We
Princess
don't know.
Mary,
We don't
the
know.
17-year-old daughter of King George
We don't know
V.
yet. We don't know
See,
yet.
in
Max
October
haven't told us.
1914, Princess Mary had started a fund to provide some Christmas gifts to everyone wearing the King's uniform on Christmas Day 1914. The boxes could include candy, spices, chocolate, pencils, pipes, tobacco, and cigarettes. They also included a picture of the princess and a greeting from King George V and Queen Mary, which read, "May God protect you and bring you safely home." Less elaborate packages were often put together not for the entire army, but for individual units by the people from their hometown. The Leicester County Club sent a box of chocolates to every man in the Leicestershire Regiment, and a brewery in Guildford sent hampers which included canned Irish stew, canned pineapple, mustard, peppermints, and of
Wait,
course,
what? I just
Christmas
realized there's an
puddings,
onion
among
jack
other
on there.
things. And it may have been some of those gifts from home that British soldiers shared and traded to, of all people, the German troops in the opposing trench. One of the most enduring stories of Christmas during World War I is that of the Christmas truce that first December. As darkness came on, lights were seen in the German lines in the Rue du Bois. Later on, their whole line was illuminated. I think they had hoisted lanterns on tall poles on their parapet and in their trenches. After, they began to sing. They sang beautifully. The whole effect was weird in the extreme. They then started shouting across to us, which we replied. I think everyone felt very homesick on Christmas Eve. Thoughts of our families at homes were uppermost in our minds. The night passed with...
Oh, hi DB, what's up? How you doing, by the way? We're just doing a watch along. What's up? How you doing? Hope you have a wonderful day. You know, there is a sadness that this event actually did. The fact that this event happened during one of the most bloodiest war humanity has ever had is kind of ironic. At the core of our heart, we don't want to hurt people. We don't want to be a cruel person. But sometimes, people in power just want people to hurt each other just because they don't like each other. It's kind of sad actually if you think about it. This imagine if like this doesn't happen. There's a lot of like humanity like it's actually like going back to what I said before. If there is no like World War I, people will not get pushed to do how do you call it? Scientific like scientific invention. We will not have cars, we will not have planes, we will not have anything because people doesn't try to advance. You need people need outside force to try to create something, and at the cost of other people's life, which is, yeah, progress means you have to waste something, you have to sacrifice something, and sometimes it means other people's blood. They don't deserve it. So yeah, imagine that. There has to be sacrifice for something, but you know, that's the sad part actually.
About a shot being fired on either side. In the morning, the Germans started shouting remarks across the lines which, at first, were not complimentary. Afterwards, they shouted greetings, such as, "Good morning, Englishmen, a Merry Christmas, you no shoot, we no
We no
shoot."
shoot.
There was no shooting all day. Not only was there no shooting, but a few brave souls on either side
It's a friendly
got out
surfer,
of the
dude. It's a friendly
trenches
surfer.
and went to
We friendly,
greet
we
each
friendly.
other in no man's land, and eventually started trading gifts and food and drink and tobacco, and then they started playing football.
Oh
There
yeah,
are
they do
even
play football.
reports
Yeah,
in
right.
several letters that say that the Germans won a match 3-2. The truce also allowed the men to gather the bodies of their fallen comrades and give them proper burials. Now, the following day, Boxing Day, the ceasefire ended pretty much everywhere. A few places it lasted for a few days, but mostly the fighting began again, and it was not repeated the next year, nor ever again. It was just that first Christmas in 1914. Perhaps.
Yeah, that's the thing. At our core, we are a peaceful creature. We want not to hurt other people, but that's the thing. I yeah, I hate how I can actually like pull like how do you call it, an analogy out of Team Forest 2, because that's basically what it is. You can turn a server friendly, like everyone, even the tryhard, friendly, just by yourself being a friendly. You can literally just do like a konga or like kazutsuki kick in the middle of like 2-4 in the bridge itself, and the entire server goes friendly. But the moment someone, I don't know, like a tryhard soldier tried to kill other people, it starts all over again, and the cycle continue. And there's a big chance after that there will not be peace. It just there will not be peace. There will be problem always. So that's the sad part. We can make peace, but it's pricey. Killing for the sake of killing is not productive. I will say that. Killing for the sake of killing is not productive. But spreading peace and joy is also not productive because, like I said, there is no progress in doing that. So that's the irony. That's an irony in those two circumstances. So yeah.
It's because the brutality of the war really ramped up in that next year, and it's kind of hard to celebrate Christmas with your enemy when you're also trying to kill them.
Yeah.
The following year, 1915, Private William Bauer wrote, "On Christmas Eve, we have a short voluntary service and communion in a bell tent. Very strange, singing Peace on Earth, and off to kill all we can early next morning."
That's
Fair point.
so sad.
Though before they went off to kill all they could the next morning, we had a few comforts given out, including a piece of Christmas pudding. Our colonel wishes us a happy Christmas, and we move away into the night, passing other bodies of troops moving off with artillery rumbling along. We have a secession
Why are we the
midday
way we
for our
are?
Christmas dinner.
Why?
Bully and biscuits. Even by that second year, many of the Christmas feasts had dwindled, and for those in the front lines, it was rations just like every other day, plus
Christmas
that
tragedy, yeah.
obligatory slice of Christmas pudding, which often came in a can, which boasted a hearty Christmas greeting from the City of London Territorial Association. And they were perfect for the
But I know
trenches
the
because
country.
all you needed to prepare them was a pot of boiling water. Directions. Place the tin in boiling water and continue boiling as follows. 1 pound tin, 1 hour, and 10 minutes extra for each additional pound. But for those a little further back from the front line, they were able to find not only pudding, but some turkeys. Whether it was raising a few and preparing them themselves, or purchasing them from merchants further from the lines, which is what one company in the
Looks like
38th
meat's
Welsh
back on the
Division
menu,
did when
boys.
they paid 592 francs for 25 turkeys in 1915. But as the war went on, even the turkeys became a little more scarce. And there are still records of big Christmas feasts for some of the soldiers, but more often the diary entries and letters home read like these from 1916. Somewhere in France. There was no real Christmas dinner, just the usual rations, as the parcels from home didn't arrive until the afternoon. My Christmas dinner was a tin of bully beef, which I dug out of the snow because it had been discarded by the previous occupants of the gun pit. The cook, together with the ration lorry, couldn't come because the roads were in such a state on account of ice and snow. And so my Christmas was a tin of bully beef, just fried it up and made
blood for the blood god.
That was 1916. And 1917 was even more meager, though one company who were unable to get back from the front lines and so didn't get a Christmas dinner were promised a treat of milk and rum punch. But the officer in charge took a sip and spat it out. The cooks, gloriously drunk, had substituted the demijohns of rum with the demijohns of whale oil. So only 1 out of the 4 Dixies, I think, had any rum in it. The rest had milk and whale oil. None of us got any rum punch.
That's disgusting.
And honestly, it was pretty much the same story. A Royal Marine recalled being on a ship at Christmas in 1917. All the fresh food disappeared, and we had a Christmas dinner of salt pork and rice, which wasn't very appetizing. See, the Brits had been fighting for 3 years now, and each Christmas got a little bleaker, which probably made it all the more galling to watch the Americans, who were celebrating their first Christmas at war, getting all of that goodwill and hospitality that the British had got back in 1914. Bountiful provision made for armed forces. Every American soldier in France is to get his Christmas turkey, cranberry sauce, sweet potatoes, and mince pie after all. One battleship has announced that its Christmas menu will be mock turtle soup, olives, roast turkey, sage dressing, giblet gravy, cranberry sauce, potatoes.
They're going all in.
Celery,
Yeah, they're going all in.
Mixed pickles, buttered beets, applesauce, mashed sweet potatoes, asparagus salad, cheese and crackers, apple pie, chocolate cake, ice cream, fresh fruit, nuts and raisins, coffee, cigars.
Okay, Uncle Sam is not playing. He just brings shit. Okay, yeah, it is Christmas. He's not playing around. He just drop shit. Yeah.
And it was biscuits and bully beef for poor Tommy in the trenches. Unless your ma back at home was lucky enough to scrounge up some potatoes and carrots so she could make you and send you this cheap Christmas pudding. So
if mom's still alive, that's for sure.
So you can take it out of the water, very carefully remove the string and foil, and turn it out onto a plate. Huzzah! I am actually shocked that it didn't just crumble into pieces. Now, most in the trenches
it doesn't look so bad, though. It doesn't look so bad.
This, but if you were lucky enough to have access to the commissary, maybe you could make some sort of sauce for it, like this brandy sauce, which is also from the 1915 article. All you do is cream together a quarter pound or 113 grams of butter with a third cup or 7 grams of sugar, then slowly add a couple ounces of sherry or brandy. And at that point, it's kind of like clotted cream, which can be used, but you can also warm it up just enough so that it pours.
It's not how bad. No, it's not how bad.
A rationed Christmas pudding ready to send to the front lines in France. Here we go.
Alright, how does it taste, Max? Let us know. Okay, judging from his reaction, it's not bad. Okay.
That's wonderful. I actually think I like it more than a rich plum pudding. The carrots you get a little bit of that carrot cake flavor.
He's speechless. Yeah, he is.
It's also not dry at all. In fact, it's very, very moist, but it isn't as dense as many plum puddings can be. Which I actually think I prefer. As for the brandy sauce,
so dry.
I could just drink that by the glass. Now, while the fighting men in the British Army were being sent plum Christmas puddings like this, they were also sending things home as well. Christmas cards. Some were like postcards that relied mostly on humor to carry the holiday greeting.
What the hell? Wait, what? Fighting fleas in Flanders with best wishes. This is how boys take a bath, is it? Oh, I thought. Oh, those are shirts. I thought that guys is like carrying like skin. Those are shirts. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you guys see the guy on the right. I thought he was carrying skin. Okay. All right.
But some were unbelievably elaborate embroidered Christmas cards, likely made by women in Belgium and France.
Sitting in
Even
bed
had
with a
silk
boy.
pocket to include a letter. One of the most prolific senders of these
We take our skin when mating. Real homies bed together. They bet 5 feet apart.
cards was a private to his wife back in England. And
Okay.
it's almost as corny as a
Boy band.
Hallmark Christmas special because his actual name was Holly Christmas. To my darling sweetheart, may every joy attend you this Christmas, with fondest love and kisses from one only absent in person, your only boy, Holly. Have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and I'll see you next time
The back trench
on
boy.
Tasting History.
All right. That is. I feel like that episode like too close to home. Actually, I did like heard a lot of like awful story about the trenches and stuff like that. In fact, I did try to like write like a short story back then about like story about trenches and stuff like that. Someone who's like staying in the trenches, and I feel like people doesn't really like those. It's like a niche thing. People doesn't really like the story of like the World War One or like trenches because I don't know, World War Two is like more famous, I guess. Like a lot of people love it, but not a lot of people like World War One. So yeah, that's yeah, that's the sad part. Anyhow, to the lesser degree. Next on the list is the Civil War, and I think you guys know which one I like. Which video I like to pick for this one. Give me a minute. Funny mustache man. Which one? There's two. Which one? Yeah, there's two. Which one? The big one or the small one? Which one? Alright. Next on the list. I just trench warfare and then intense gas bomb. Iron Man versus Cap. I don't know. I don't watch Marvel. Also, maybe the worst thing. Funny Austrian mustache man got You know what? Last time, you know what? I like that. I like that. Hang on. I love that comment you made. There, pin. You are now pin. I love that. I love that. I actually love it. Holy shit. Yeah, you did good. You did good. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Okay, that got me good. Uh-huh. Okay, next one. Is this too long? I don't know if it's too long. Is it too long? It's too. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Just forward to history, man. People have fireworks. Next on the list, how to brew Civil War coffee with potatoes. I don't know why you wanna eat potatoes after drinking coffee. I'm not Civil War like connoisseur, so I don't know why you want to do that. Agree. Potato coffee, yes. Oh wait, there's no sound. Hang on. I just realized I muted the sound. Fuck, you guys didn't tell me about that. No sound. Yeah, sorry. I'll repeat that.
Other than shoes and bullets, nothing was more important to a Civil War soldier than coffee. Now, the North and South loved the stuff, but the Confederates definitely had a harder time getting their hands on it, so they came up with alternatives, like this rye and sweet potato coffee, which was sent to General George Pickett from his wife. So thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video as we make Civil War coffee, or at least what passed as coffee. This time on Tasting History.
The Civil War was funny. What if those people in the South say...
This week is the 160th anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg, and as a Civil War buff myself, I wanted to make a video that had some connection to that battle. Well, as it happens, one of the most famous characters, persons, one of the most famous figures involved in that battle, General George Pickett, famous for his failed charge, which bears his name and marks the turning point in the war,
Pickett
he
charge
received a care package from his wife, and it included the South's version of coffee. Come to think of it, my prentice, you must have been up all night to have made up and sent out such a basket of goodies, and baked and buttered such a lot of biscuits, and made so many jugs of coffee as came this morning. My, I tell you, it all tasted good, and the coffee, well, no mocha or java ever tasted half so good as this
Come
rye
right away,
sweet
always
potato
come away.
blend. Bless your thoughtful heart. You know, as odious of a man as he was, and he was, he does write a pretty sweet letter. Anyway, I didn't actually think that I would find a recipe for this sweet potato and rye coffee, and technically I didn't, but it turns out the newspapers, especially early on in the war in the South, were filled with recipes for coffee alternatives, and I did find a recipe for sweet potato coffee and a recipe for rye coffee. The sweet potato coffee recipe comes from the Albany Patriot in Georgia. Preparation. Peel your potatoes and slice them rather thin. Dry them in the air or on the stove, then cut into pieces small enough to go into the coffee mill, then grind it.
I don't have
2 tablespoons full of ground coffee and 3 or 4 of ground potatoes will make 8 or 9 cups of coffee.
Wait,
pure.
Hang on. Tablespoonful of ground coffee and 3 or 4 ground potato will make 8. Oh, you mix the potato in the coffee, not as a side dish. You put the powder of the potato inside the coffee. I have been deceived. Oh no, I read the title wrong. It's how to brew Civil War coffee with sweet potato. The potato is in the coffee, not the sweet potato as a side dish. Oh, I read the title wrong. Oh. Well, I'm screwed. Okay.
And well tasted. So what's interesting is this
That
recipe
sucks.
calls for mixing the sweet potato coffee with real coffee.
Yeah.
And that was possible at the very beginning of the war, which is when this recipe was
I
written.
rather not. Thank
But
you very
as time
much, Max.
progresses,
Thank you.
Most
No.
of the recipes
Also,
drop
Captain C,
off
welcome
the
to
coffee,
Cinema
and we'll
today.
talk about exactly why that was a little bit later. But
Am I
for
late?
this
You are
sweet
1
potato
hour
coffee,
late, yeah.
all you need is 4 or 5
Oh,
sweet
hell no.
potatoes. But exactly what sweet potato they're talking about is not.
Hell no. Wait. Instruction asking made potato chips with coffee flavor. Actually, that doesn't sound so bad. I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay, I can see the hypocrisy of not wanting coffee mixed with, potato, but I won't eat potato chips with coffee flavor. Yeah, I understand the hypocrisy, but my defense, I like coffee, but not in like mixed with something. I like potato chips, but if mixed with, condiment, it's not bad. I'm just saying. I like a nice pencil. I also like a chicken nugget. I don't want to both of them mixed together. I'm just saying.
Very clear, because then, just as now, the term sweet potato, especially in the South, was often used interchangeably with yam, and there are different types of
potato
sweet
has
potato.
almost zero taste.
So I think either one is going to work. I would steer clear from maybe purple sweet potatoes, but since you are looking for a coffee color, I wouldn't go with the white sweet potato.
Yeah,
but
nuh-uh.
at least a little orange, so it gives it some color. So wash and peel them, then slice them very
Sour
thin
cream,
and
onion.
set them on some trays to dry.
How does
Now, you can do this out in
sour
the
cream,
sun,
onion
and I
taste like?
imagine it would kind of take all day. And I say I imagine because I tried it, but I had to abandon my endeavor because the squirrels just wouldn't leave them alone. So I ended up putting them into the oven for about 3 hours on the very lowest setting until they became like sweet potato hardtack. Once
Oh
they're
god,
nice and
damn
dry
this.
and
Oh my god.
really tiny, then break them up and then put them into a
I
coffee
keep getting
grinder
jump
and
scared by
grind
that
until
thing.
you have a
Fucking
powder.
hell, Max.
Now, according to the author of this recipe, the above is worthy of a trial. We have thoroughly tested its qualities and can perceive no difference in taste from the genuine coffee. We regard it as every way equal to Rio,
Heartech jump
Java,
scare.
or the mocha coffee. I'm skeptical, but I guess we'll
5
find
next
out.
at
But first,
Heartech.
we need to
Fuck
make
it.
our
Someone make
rye
a
component.
fan
And
art
for
of that.
the recipe comes from the Charleston, South Carolina Mercury. Take rye, boil it, but not so much as to burst the grain. Then dry it either in the sun or on the stove or in a kiln,
Heartech
after
jump
which
scare.
it is ready for parching to be used like the real coffee bean. Prepared in this manner, it can hardly be distinguished from the genuine coffee. Again, skeptical, especially because this one does not call for any actual coffee included. It's just dried rye ground up. And so for this, what you need is a cup or so of rye added to a pot of boiling water, then reduce it to a simmer and let it simmer.
It's indistinguishable from coffee. Okay, I think that will be enough to fool me, considering that I did tell you guys about it when I tried to make coffee. And I put brown sugar and just sugar, like white sugar, inside of like my cup. Put like warm, like not actually warm, like hot water inside of it, and then just like I go to my room to pick up something, go outside, grab the cup, and then forgot to put the coffee inside of it. And then for about like 1 or 2 hour of my like Fallout stream, I realized that, oh god, there is no coffee inside of this thing. Because I tried to look under the cup. There is no black residue, because if you make coffee, there usually like black residue underneath it. I look at the bottom of the cup and there's like, there is no black residue. What the fuck did I put inside of it? Did I just like drink the residue or something? And then I realized, because I put brown sugar inside the cup, that's what make the water brown. It took me like 2 hours to realize that I'm just drinking sugar water. There is no coffee inside of it, even though I keep telling you guys, hang on, coffee break. I keep telling you guys coffee break. That's the thing. But there's no coffee inside the cup. I'm starting to understand how placebo medicine work. I'm starting to understand how placebo works. Should I just put fake coffee enjoyer? I have been tricked. I have been backstabbed. And I have been possibly lied to myself. Anyway, let's get back. That's a lot of sugar if it's completely diluted the water. It doesn't. That's the thing. The water is see-through. But the water is see-through. I can see to the bottom of the thing. I see the bottom to the... Wait, is your cover... Is that sweet? No, actually, I put like 2 brown sugar and 1 like normal sugar, because I like want to try how like brown sugar tastes like mixed with like coffee and stuff like that. That's why I forgot, because I thought I already put, usually I just like put white sugar, right? And then like my mind, I put like something brown inside of my coffee, like, oh, that's probably like coffee. And it's like, why is this thing like transparent? And then like my brain doesn't like register it, and like, probably like, just how I see it, just like probably just my imagination. That's the point where like I reach at the bottom and it's like, there is no residue at all. What the fuck did I be drinking? And then that's the thing. That's when it hits me. I didn't put the coffee inside of that thing. I forgot, because I went to my room, I pick up something, I go out, I didn't put anything in this aside from sugar. So I just been drinking sugar water. That's where it hits me, okay? That's where it hits me. Listen, man, you don't understand. Alright, you don't understand how. Forgot, okay? I'm just a simple-minded individual. What do you think? I forgot, okay? What do you want me to do? Sue me.
For about 12 minutes. Then strain them and let them dry. And just like the sweet potatoes, you can leave them out in the sun because squirrels don't like rye. Oh, it turns out, yes, they do. They'll absolutely eat anything, or at least
honey bean soup with no
mess it around
beans.
the yard.
Fuck.
So leave it on a stove or put it in the oven. Once dried, they too are ready to grind. Now, neither of these look anything like real coffee grounds, and they don't smell anything like real coffee grounds, but maybe they'll taste like real coffee grounds. But before we try that out, let me tell you a bit about coffee during the Civil War and why both North
Alright.
and South loved a cup, whether it was real or not.
Alright.
So like I said, the coffee situation during the
ADHD
Civil War
hitting.
really depended greatly on which side of the battlefield you were on, so I'm going to break this up into Union coffee and Confederate coffee. For
Alright.
those boys in blue, coffee was a big part of their ration. For every 100 men, they received 10 pounds of green coffee or 8 pounds of roasted and ground coffee. Green coffee being unroasted coffee, and it had a longer shelf life, so they did prefer to hand that out, but it meant that the men had to roast their own coffee.
I can't believe it's
which
not
they would
coffee.
often do either in a skillet or in a pot just over the fire, but a few
Yes,
people
Captain,
did
yes.
have access to coffee roasters thanks to Wilder Dwight of the 2nd Massachusetts Infantry. Just a few months after the war started, he wrote to his parents, "I wish you to buy and forward by express a large coffee roaster which will roast 30 or 40 pounds at a time. There is a kind, I am told. It would be of immense advantage to us." And
Did he just like send letter to his parents saying, "Mom, Dad, can you buy us a coffee maker, please?" Did he just like? Did he just email his parents saying that he wants a coffee maker? That is basically what he did. Oh my god. That guy is literally me. Oh my god.
only 2 weeks later, he wrote, "Coffee roaster
There's a lot
has
of coffee.
arrived, and his
Coffee
merry
roaster
work.
has arrived.
This is a comfort. Tell father he is the regiment's friend, and I bless him."
Because, yo, mom, coffee maker is here, mom. Everyone's happy. Tell daddy I love him. That's basically it. But it's real, man. Yeah, buy us coffee maker. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks. Coffee for the lots. Coffee for everyone. I keep for Ah, God. Me and the boy. Fuck Starbucks. Me and the boys as the parents. Fuck coffee maker.
Once roasted, then they had to grind their own coffee
Man
beans,
is over
either
moon.
with a pan or hitting them with a
Man after my own
bayonet, though
heart.
Some have said that they would hit them with the butt of their rifle, which seems like a terrible way to treat a rather important tool on the battlefield. But there was actually a gun called the Sharps carbine, which in some models was fitted with a hand-cranked grinder in the stock, and was often referred to as a coffee grinder. Now, it
look at
probably
that.
wasn't actually meant for coffee. Nobody seems to know what it was really meant for.
Okay.
But after practical tests in recent years, they've determined it's likely that it was used to grind charcoal for gunpowder, which would make sense.
Hey, charcoal to gunpowder. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. If you're crazy enough, anything is coffee. I'm just saying. If you're crazy enough, anything is coffee. Also, I don't know why this frame of like Max is so funny.
To have that in the butt of your
Hi Senpai, what's up?
carbine, your gun.
With a charge of
but
charcoal.
Maybe some people did use it as a coffee grinder. It was called a coffee grinder often, but probably just because
yeah, bye-bye,
it
Reaper,
looked
bye-bye,
like a
Shinin.
coffee grinder. But maybe people were mashing them with the butt of their gun and thought, hey, we should just put a grinder in the coffee or in the gun. I don't know.
I put the
But whatever
grinder.
they
I
did,
put the
once they
coffee
had their
maker on the
grounds, it was
rifle.
time to make your coffee.
Don't
Now,
drink
a
charcoal
lot
water.
of 19th century recipes for coffee have you boil the water with the coffee grounds in it. But the coffee should not be put in the water before it boils.
Wait,
At first
what?
I was green enough to do so, but soon learned better, being compelled to march before the water boiled, and consequently lost my coffee. I lost both the water and the coffee.
Oh
All
no,
it
the
took to
horror!
grind it, and he lost his coffee. And there was
Oh
nothing
God,
worse
that's
than losing
horrible. That's
coffee.
tragedy, man.
Coffee
That's
was their
just
staff
a
of
tragedy.
life, and they must have it, no matter what
Coffee be
risk
hitting hard.
attended. The most disheartening event that could happen a soldier was to be called into line just as his coffee pot was beginning to bubble.
Okay, this is a line to live in. Yeah, it's if your cup of coffee is full, that's a tragedy. But if the coffee pot is left behind, that's enough to make me cry.
that
This
was
is
Fenner
tragedy,
Pedley
man.
of the 32nd Illinois Infantry, and he says that the men needed their coffee no matter what risk attended.
Migrant
People
migrants.
would risk their lives to get
Weaklings.
coffee. And perhaps
Thrice
the most famous
weaklings.
person to do this was a 19-year-old commissary
Senior Sergeant
sergeant
Coffee
named
Potson didn't
William
make it.
McKinley, future president of the United States. On September 17, 1862, his Ohio regiment was at the Battle
Is
of
Ohio?
Antietam, the bloodiest single
Ohio
day in
mentioned?
American history. Early in the afternoon, naturally enough, with the exertion required of the men, they were famished and thirsty, and to some extent
Quickest
broken
sugar
in
water
spirit.
drink.
The commissary department of that brigade was under Sergeant McKinley's
How dare you
administration
guys? How
and
dare
personal
you?
supervision.
I am not
From
a
his
sugar
hands,
water
every man in the
drinker.
regiment was served with hot coffee and warm meats. He passed under fire and delivered with his own hands these things so essential for the men for whom he was laboring. What I find fascinating is that quote was from an officer in that same regiment named Rutherford B. Hayes, another future president of the United States. 2 future presidents in 1 regiment. Kind of crazy. Later in McKinley's political career, he used the event as kind of part of his origin story.
Sugar water. Shut
And
up!
at the
No,
battlefield today,
no
there
sugar
is
water.
a monument that commemorates history's most dangerous coffee run. Now, the reason that someone would risk their life to get coffee to the troops was because the caffeine in that coffee was essential to many. They would often call it their nerve tonic.
Yes!
And there were some soldiers or even generals who really, really believed in the virtues of this nerve tonic, of the
I
caffeine.
believe it as well.
Most
Yes, that is
famously
true.
was General Benjamin Butler. He would have
Salt.
his men pour the water out of their canteens and
Disgusting.
fill them instead with coffee. And it's said that he would even plan attacks around the time of day when his troops were most caffeinated. He told one general that if your men get their coffee early in the morning, you can hold.
Yep.
That said, Butler is often considered one of the worst generals the Union had, so maybe his advice should be taken with a grain of salt. But it wasn't just him who loved an excess of coffee, as what we each man drank at every meal would keep a New England family a day. And Alexander Downing of the 11th Iowa Infantry wrote, "One man in our company, Long John as the boys have nicknamed him, is a great coffee drinker. He carries a 2-quart peach can strapped to his haversack and every day buys up 1 or 2 rations of coffee from the boys who do not use much. Though poor..."
Wait, what? Hang on. Pepper water. Okay, that's just disgusting. Or a grain of... No! Shut up! No! Shut up! No, no one mentioned the brown sugar. Shut up! No one! Shut up! What about salt and sugar? Okay, that's just because you get a toothache. If you get a toothache, yeah. Rinse your mouth with salt and sugar. Also, sweating, you gotta go. Oh, yeah. But it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Have a good night's sleep. And yeah. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for joining the stream. We'll see you soon. Yeah. Bye-bye. Long John. He just named the average salt water and for stronger sugar one. Mint water. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I don't know what that is. Sweet salty coffee and me, please. I will personally. I will send you to the pits of hell where you came from. I will send you personally. But my family was the only one who does that. Does what? Does what? Rose water is thing used for flavoring some food, I suppose. I don't know what you guys talking about.
Been frustrated as the war
Coffee
went on
water.
because even the Union began to have trouble getting good coffee. In 1863, an Ohio soldier wrote, "There is a good deal of complaint in our company, at least, about the coffee we get. It seems not
Sparkle
quite
water,
so good as that we have had, and I suspect it has been adulterated by someone who is willing to get rich at the expense of the poor soldier."
Oh,
And
those
by the end of
people.
the war, Ebenezer Gilpin
We
lamented,
got a
"We are reduced to
freaking
about
scalper
quarter
here, guys.
rations and no coffee. And nobody can soldier without coffee."
Okay, that's
But
true.
he wrote that in April of 1863, after General Lee had already surrendered at Appomattox Courthouse, while General Lee's men, the rebel soldiers, well, they'd been going without coffee since pretty much day one. The Anaconda Plan was General
Ohio is
Winfield
Chinese
Scott's
Asian
idea to
activation
completely
face.
blockade
No.
the South from getting any supplies from outside the Confederacy, and this meant no coffee was coming in from Brazil or the other coffee-growing regions.
Brazil.
And just a few months after Fort Sumter was fired upon, Southern newspapers start including recipes for fake coffee. Like I said,
Okay.
at first, they were just a way to supplement your coffee, to make what coffee you had last a little bit longer. But very, very quickly, like within Within the first year, coffee is pretty much gone, and it's just recipes for something warm to drink that might look and
The
taste
tragedy,
like coffee.
guys. The
These coffee
tragedy.
alternatives became known as Lincoln coffee and were made of, among other things, acorns, rice, okra, peanuts, asparagus, persimmons, field
Wait,
peas, beets,
what?
rye, sweet potato, and even cotton seeds. In New Orleans, they would use chicory, which proved so popular that years later, when coffee became available again, they continued to use the chicory as well. You can still get it with your beignets at Café du Monde, which set up shop in 1862 during the Civil War. Though I do believe it is now blended with caffeinated coffee. Though caffeinated or non-caffeinated just chicory coffee still sounds preferable to what Luther Hopkins of the 6th Virginia
They're
Infantry
making soup
preferred.
now. Making
During the
soup.
winter months, when we needed some kind of beverage to wash down our hardtack, the only thing we could get was horse feed,
What?
which was roasted and boiled. We called it coffee.
Oh, what? You put horse feet in water and call it coffee. I am horrified. I am somehow in the mix of horrified, disgusted, and terrified. I, some people put dirt or other things in their coffee. These people I called crazy. Also, Cyberman, I'm sorry, my heart just fell. I'm sorry. What is hell? So, your excuse being if you cannot drink coffee, then don't. Just don't put horse feet in your water. Call it coffee. You disrespect yourself and your nation. What are you doing? No. Sonero, hi. Not the manager. I'm pretty sure most people come because of that balls video. I somehow regret making that video, but also I'm glad people actually find that. I'm glad people actually love that video actually. I point and laugh at the coffee enjoy. How dare you? How fucking dare you?
We had to rob our horses for this, and
Why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you doing this to me? Why? Whoa, felt mean. When we why? Why are you doing this? You human.
we all felt mean when we did it. And if a Confederate soldier was able to get their hands on real coffee, it was usually done by
Horse
trading
meat
with
coffee.
Union soldiers. Our boys and the Johnnies on the skirmish line entered into an agreement not to fire on one another. Boys
No
would
feet.
meet
No,
between the
no,
lines,
no. My feet.
exchange
No.
tobacco
No
for
feet.
coffee. The Rebs were always very anxious to get hold of New York papers. But if you weren't able to get it in a swap, then you'd better be saving your pennies if you wanted to have some real coffee. Because at the beginning of the war, in March of 1861, 1 pound of coffee was sold for $1.20 in the Confederacy. But by the end of the war, it was up to $196 a pound. And now,
This is literally like buying houses at this point. They'll literally buy $1 for a coffee, and then they jack up the price. So, okay, I see. Get us addicted and jack up the price, eh? I see. All right, smart move. All right, not
the
wise but
Confederate
smart.
dollar was way devalued, but even so,
What
that
did I
was
see?
really, really expensive for some coffee. That is why most were dependent on these faux coffees. But if the recipes were to be believed, you couldn't tell the difference between the fake coffee and a real cup of coffee. Like one recipe for war coffee. It called for mixing equal parts coffee and equal parts cornmeal, and swore that I have used it for 2 weeks, and several friends visiting my house say they could not discover anything peculiar in the taste of my coffee, but pronounced it very good. Try it and see if we can't get along comfortably even while our ports are blockaded by the would-be king. And there were tons of these recipes, and they all read very similarly, always ending with, "And you'll never believe it's not coffee." Kind of reminds me of those "I can't believe it's not butter" ads from the 90s.
I can't believe it's not butter.
But just like
I hate how you actually brought that up. This is where it culminates, isn't it? I hate how you actually brought that up. It's impossible, man. It's impossible. This is too much. I expect to go to this video at least enjoying it, at least like learning how they at least make coffee mixed with potato, like you eat it as a side dish, and then I came home heartbroken. I don't deserve this. Why am I torturing myself? I don't deserve this. I can't believe it's not butter. I can't believe I'm torturing myself. I win in this. There is no winner. Everyone dies. All of you dies. All of me included. Everyone dies. No winner. No winner. Party's over. Go home. Horse feet, not fat. I think I'll take partial responsibility for saying horse feet instead of fat.
Family Guy mocked those ads.
I can't believe.
Shut up,
Cartoons
Peter.
of the newspapers of the South mock the recipes for the faux coffee. Like this one
Damn,
from
we
the
did.
Arkansas True Democrat. Recipes for the times. To make coffee, take tan bark, 3 parts, 3 old cigar stumps, and a quart of water. Mix well and boil 15 minutes in a dirty coffee pot. And the best judges cannot tell it from the finest mocha. And they
You're
mocked it because as
disgusting.
much as people tried to convince themselves that this stuff tasted like real coffee, it didn't, and they knew it. After
Yeah.
every experiment to make coffee of what was not coffee, we were driven to decide that there was nothing coffee but coffee. And when
Exactly.
a British officer, Sir Arthur Lyon Fremantle, visited the Confederate States in 1863, he remarked, "The loss of coffee afflicts the Confederates even more than the loss of spirits, and they exercise their ingenuity in devising substitutes which are not generally very successful."
Yep.
Nobody was fooled, which is why I'm really curious what this rye and sweet potato coffee is going to taste like. So to start off, bring a quart of water to a boil. You can use a coffee pot
Lord,
or just a
protect
regular
me
pot,
on this.
or if you have a mucket, use that. Muckets were what many of the soldiers would have boiled their coffee in, and basically
The hell is
just a
that?
tin
What is that?
canister.
Why is that one has
Once
holes?
it's boiling, add a heaping quarter cup of the coffee mixture. I am using half the sweet potato and half the rye, but
I
you
thought
could
the video
use
got
like
scarred
a
for
third
life.
sweet potato, a third rye, and a third regular coffee.
Because
if
it's
the
named after
beginning of the
river
war
that
and you still
goes
had
between
access
into.
to coffee. What
What do
you
you
don't
mean?
want to do is add it while it's boiling. You want to turn off the heat and then add it, because if you add it while it's boiling,
Oh.
it does this. So take it off the heat, add the grounds, and let it steep for 7 or 8 minutes or until all of the grounds have fallen to the bottom of the pot. Then you can pour
Okay.
yourself a cup of General Pickett's rye and sweet potato coffee.
Lord, protect
So I
me.
have the tin cup here, but I also poured it into a glass so you can see
Max,
a little
don't do
better
this.
what
Max,
this
no.
actually
Max,
looks like.
don't. Max,
And
no.
it ain't coffee.
Max,
Now,
don't.
one of the early recipes would have you add coffee as well, so it probably would look a lot more like coffee. but
Max,
this looks more
don't.
like
Max,
tea
no,
or
please,
apple
no.
cider. The thing is,
No, Max,
it smells really
don't.
good. It smells like
Okay,
sweet
no, Max,
potato.
no. Oh, no. Okay.
It's very, very hot.
Yeah, I
it's
know.
Very, very hot, but
I know. That's how coffee's supposed to be
tastes like
served.
sweet
But
potatoes. It is sweet potato tea. I'm not sure that the rye necessarily. No, it does. It adds kind of a nuttiness to it. But coffee?
no. Yeah. Okay, thank
But
God.
good. Yes. Also, I have some hardtack here. A
Okay.
little broken piece of hardtack that I just want to dip in it because that's often how they would have eaten their hardtack, was just dipping it into coffee to soften it
I
up.
saw you get
Doesn't really work in this cup, but I'll have a tiny, tiny piece that hopefully I won't break my teeth on. I don't know how long it needs to soak. Probably longer than that. Yeah, longer than that. Well, I got a little bit off.
There is a. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. There is a general disgust. I have found that that's at that point. That looks like tea. That is tea. You cannot convince me otherwise. That's not coffee. There ain't no way that's coffee. That's just tea. Unless you're trying to, fight for King George. I
2
don't
years old
think
at this
you want to
point.
drink that.
And still as tasteless as the day it was baked. And it is
Yep.
still really, really hard. What is not
God
hard
damn
is
it, that's
building a
the fifth
website
one.
from today's
Okay.
sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace makes building a website so easy,
Okay.
especially with their new Fluid engine. It's a next-gen design system that allows you to customize pretty much every aspect of...
I think the rest of them is just ads. I think the rest of them is just... Okay, let's move on. Last one. Last one for today's Raccoon Ethical Reacts. At time. Okay, so last one. I'll look for the video in a second. I think the rest of them just like ads or something like that. Hang on, I'm gonna make sure. It's incredibly funny. I did saw his heart attack video. Wait. Guys, has the video been muted this whole time, or did I just like accidentally click something? Guys, the video has been muted this whole time. Wait, has the video been muted this whole time? No, he heard. Oh, the video is not muted. Okay, great. Thrice, you liar, bastard. Damn it, people play alone. Low video, but low audio, but we can hear it. Is the audio really low? Really? No, it's on 50%. I don't know why you guys cannot hear it. Alright. I wanted to troll, but it's too nice. Yeah, don't be like Thrice. Thrice is a dick. Thrice, you dick. You almost give me a heart attack. Kinda low. Alright, I'll increase it by 20%. I don't wanna like my voice and like max to like overlap. That's why I like make it low. But that's also because my headset is like really make voice like too high. So I don't wanna like deaf myself. So yeah. Literally just quieter than you. Alright, that's good enough. So oh wait, I forgot to mute it. Okay. So this will be the last video for today. And that's hang on. Which one is this? Okay, so this last video for today. Done. I know some of you like this type of thing, so yeah. 2 times the trauma for coffee people. What have I ever done to you, Trice? What have I done to you? I invite you to my place. I invite you to my place. I give you respect, and you have to spat on my face. You don't even call me the raccoon. How dare you? For more historic food, check out Townsend's. Yeah, Townsend's make like a lot of like really good video actually. I think like the first time I actually like saw Hardtech is from Townsend, and then I saw from Tasting Historian. I think 3 2x multiply to break the raccoon about coffee history. You didn't even drink coffee. I drink coffee. What do you mean? I'm a Night Templar. I can confirm I eat this. Eat what? Okay, let's go. You drink sugar? No, this one is coffee. No, this one is actually legit coffee. I have coffee right here, right? You hear this, right? Oh god, I just spilled it on my hand. Hang on. If egg coffee exists, why are you doing this to yourself? Sugar water, horsefeet, but not coffee. No proof. Why are you guys not trusting me? Why? Since when you guys not believe in me? I've never lied to you guys, and you guys do this to me. Why? What have I done to deserve this? I don't know. You guys just being mean. You guys haters. You guys haters. That's it. You guys don't like coffee. You guys hate you all of you British people like tea. You guys don't like coffee. But that's sugar for. How are you supposed to hear coffee? Temperate Nikes 8 raccoon. Did you know? No, shut up. No, shut up. No. That's not true. Shut up. Coffee stream. I don't know. Anyway, since you forgot to put coffee coffee in your coffee. What? I drink coffee. Yeah, good. Now next.
The Knights Templar, famous for their piety, their ferocity in battle, their wealth, and even their diet.
Oh my
a
God.
diet which some say gave them inordinately long life. So in an attempt to hold on to my youth just a little bit longer, I will eschew the Botox and fillers and
Also
instead
tea,
make
but
a
mostly
medieval wild boar with cameline sauce. This
Like a
time,
wild
I'm
pig.
tasting history.
I'm surprised this isn't coffee talk playthrough.
So
Well,
went
I
back and
finished the
forth
game,
deciding on
so
what
that's
to make
that.
for this episode because some days the knights ate meat,
the fuck
and
is
other
that?
days they were
Wait,
almost
hang on,
entirely
what is that?
vegetarian. I ended up going with this episode because some days the knights.
The fuck is this? What am I looking at? Why is there a knife stuck in the board? Wait, what the hell? What am I looking at? It's okay. Why is there a knife? Just why is there this PNG of knife stuck on a board? Why is this? What is this? Why is this so big? Why is this knife so big? What the fuck is going on? I'm butcher's like, what the fuck? What? Why is this? What? Why is this on this side? Why is this not? Why is this like rack on this side, not his side? What the fuck is going on? The hell, dude! I'm just gonna say this. If I don't know any better, this is AI art. I don't know if I don't know any better. What the fuck is going on? What is this? Maybe he's showing his fine cuts of meat. I don't have to clip bone. Want to clip from the... What the fuck is this shit? It's a painting. Don't think too much. That's why I told you. If I don't know any better, this is fucking AI art. That's the truth.
And other days,
People in the medieval era has
I ended up
AI
going with the
art.
meat because it would allow me to make a sauce which would use a lot of the
What the
spices
fuck is
that they would
this?
have had access to while crusading in the Holy Land. So I'm actually using two
The
sources.
sugar
both
one. Shut
14th
up!
century
No,
French
shut up!
sources
Shut
written
up!
around the waning days
They don't
of the
have
Knights
to
Templar.
have it
The
yet.
first is from Le Viandier du Trévon and is
I
called
hate
Collier,
you. I
fresh
hate
wild boar venison.
Like
Cooked
a
in wine
wild
and water
pig.
and boiled again, eaten with cameline sauce. Today, the term venison usually refers to deer or elk, but back
Okay.
then it could refer to any hunted game animal, like rabbit or deer
Oh my
or
god!
badger
Wait,
or
what?
boar, like
No,
this
no, no!
recipe
Go
calls
back!
for.
Go
Now,
back!
the interesting
What the
part of
fuck?
this sauce. Today, the term venison
Okay.
usually refers to deer or elk, but back then it could refer to any hunted game animal, like rabbit.
What the fuck is this? What the... What? What? It's the rabbit. It is not. That's too much. The fuck? I hate this. I hate it. I fucking hate. I'm fucking dying, guys. I'm fucking dying. Uh, uh, I cannot take this. I cannot take this picture seriously. What the fuck? Oh my god, I'm done. Looks like humans back on the menu, boys.
Or deer or badger or boar, like
Okay.
this recipe calls for. Now, the interesting part of this dish
Oh
is
my
the
god,
cameline
that
sauce.
that
And
picture
there were
broke
recipes
me.
for cameline sauce from France,
What
from
was
England
from
to Italy,
Shut
all
up!
through
No
the
brown
Middle
sugar!
Ages.
Shut
And
up!
the one thing they
No
all had in
more!
common
No
was their
more!
color. They
No
were all
more brown
reddish
sugar,
brown.
no
It was
more.
supposed to be like the color of cameline,
The
which
fuck
is a
is
wool
that?
made from camel hair. It was such a popular sauce that it could actually be bought pre-made on the streets of Paris, which is where our second source, Le
What the fuck is this? You guys see that, right? This is in the top right. What the fuck is that? is this? Oh, no, no, I
comes from. This is one of
no.
my favorite medieval sources because of the way that it's written.
Dude,
It's
people in the
ostensibly an old
back
man
there is
writing
crazy,
to
man.
his new, very young
So
wife, and it's
come on.
instructions on how to please him
I
in
don't know.
every sense of the word.
I'm scared.
Which includes making cameline sauce. Cameline. Note that hints
What
were
the
made.
fuck is this? What is this animal?
To make cameline, they grind ginger,
Stop analyzing
cinnamon,
the picture,
saffron,
dude.
and
I want
beaten
to
nutmeg,
fucking
moistened with wine, then taken out of the mortar. Then grind in a mortar untoasted white breadcrumbs that have been soaked in cold water, moisten with wine, and
I'm
spread.
done. I'm
Then
done.
boil
I'm
everything
fine.
and finish with brown sugar.
Fuck
and that
you.
makes winter cameline. In the
No,
summer,
I'm
they do
brown
the same, but
sugar.
It is not boiled at all. Now, there are many variations on this sauce. A lot of them use
No,
vinegar, some
I'm brown
use sugar
sugar.
or currants, lots of different spices, and then, of course, boiled and not boiled. And since it's
Okay.
winter, I am going to use
I'm
boiled
done. My
for
stomach
armor.
hurts.
Now, once
Brown
you have
sugar
your boil, you
mentioned
can
in-
actually boil it right away, but I do find
My
that
stomach
that kind
hurts.
of dries out the meat. So it's best to
Okay.
heat a little olive oil in a pot and then sear the meat for a couple minutes on each side. Once it's well crusted, you can take it out of the pot and add in equal parts water and wine. And you can use red or white wine for this.
Wait,
The
wine?
red is going to stain the boar a little bit, but it really adds more flavor, I find, so that's what I'm using. Once
Okay.
it's boiling, put
Stomach
the boar
pain,
in
baby
and
shaky.
cover the
No,
pot
shut up,
and let it
Thrice.
cook
No.
for 10 to 15 minutes. And if it's not entirely submerged, that's okay. You can flip it if you want, but it's actually not even necessary. Then once it's cooked, take it out and let it rest. Now for the
Okay.
cameline sauce, what you'll need is 1 thick slice of good white bread without
Okay.
crust. So this might seem an odd ingredient for sauce, bread, but in the Middle Ages, that's what they often used to thicken sauces. That or egg yolks, sometimes in some recipes. But the bread was definitely the most common, and it works pretty well. 1 1/4
Okay.
cup or
Is it
300
red
milliliters
wine is up
of
to you.
white wine, 1/4 cup or 60 milliliters of red wine, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 2 teaspoons cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, a pinch of saffron threads, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar,
Ah,
and a pinch of
goddamn.
salt. And you can mix those quantities pretty much however you want to your taste, though the cinnamon is supposed to be the dominant flavor. So rip up the bread into small breadcrumbs, then soak them in cold water for a couple hours. While it soaks, mix the ginger,
That thick
cinnamon,
sliced bread
nutmeg, and
fatter than
saffron
her.
together, then stir them into the white wine. Once the bread is soaked, pour the red wine over it, and if you want a little zing to the sauce, go ahead and add about
Okay.
a tablespoon of red wine vinegar here. It's very popular in most cameline sauces of the day, but it is not in this recipe, but add it if you want. Then mash up the bread and strain it over a saucepan, pressing the mushed bread through a sieve. Then add in the spiced wine and set it over medium heat and bring to a boil. Let it simmer for about 15 minutes and it will start to thicken. And while it thickens, make sure you are subscribed to Tasting History and have that little notification.
I did. Don't
bell
worry.
hit
Don't
so
worry,
you
Max.
never
I
miss
did.
an episode. And follow me on Twitter, Tasting History 1.
I
as
did. Don't
we
worry.
Take a look at this supposedly life-giving diet of the Templars.
Okay.
The Knights Templar, warrior monks charged with protecting pilgrims as they traveled to Jerusalem following the First Crusade. As Bernard de Clairvaux wrote, a Templar knight is truly a fearless knight, and secure on every side, for his soul is protected by the armor of faith, just as his body is protected by the armor of steel. He is thus doubly armored, and need fear neither demons nor men. With an introduction like that, it's no wonder they became one of the most mythologized groups of medieval Europe. From the idea that they found the Holy Grail, to their supposed worship of the idol Baphomet, to the idea that their diet helped them live twice as long as the average man
The Emperor
in the Middle
protects.
Ages. Now, the first two don't really need any debunking, or at least I'm not going to handle that, but the third, well, that's right up my alley. See, the thing is, the Knights Templar did live longer than the average bear. Many made it into their late 60s or early 70s. And that is double the average life expectancy of the Middle Ages, which was about 35. But that includes a lot of infant
What the
mortality.
hell?
If you adjust for that, then the average
What
is
is that?
probably early 50s. And if you made it to about the age 20, you'd likely make it to the age 65. So, yes, them living to 68 or 70 is a little more than average, but
His
not
wife,
but
damn.
for argument's sake,
Dude,
let's say
your
that they
wife,
did
dude,
live
your
a
wife's
healthy
skin as
lifestyle
hell.
outside of fighting in the Crusades in the 12th and 13th centuries and being burned alive at the stake as heretics in the 14th century. Both activities decidedly bad for your health. But what were the particulars of this supposedly healthy lifestyle? Well, fortunately, They wrote 'em
Even
all
in
down.
death, I
The
still serve
Latin
the
rule,
Omniscient.
sometimes called the Primitive Rules for the Templar Order, was a document attributed to the French abbot Bernard de Clairvaux. Written in 1129, it was largely based on the rule of Saint Benedict, which I talked about at length in the video on how a medieval monk might eat. But they were not the average cloistered monk. They were doing a lot of battling and traveling a lot more, so they had some different lifestyle requirements. They were still monks, but monks with swords. Alongside their white cloak, which signified purity and complete chastity, they wore the habit, as an ordinary monk would have. Though in Europe, while most monks
I
wore
smell extra
wool, we
heresy.
mercifully rule that because of the great intensity of the heat which exists in the East, from Easter to All Saints, through compassion and in no way is a right, a linen shirt shall be given to any brother
It's the
who
metallic
wishes to wear
monk.
it. But don't for 1 minute think that kind of leniency is going to extend to your footwear. We prohibit pointed shoes and shoelaces, and forbid any brother to wear them, for it is manifest and well known that these abominable things belong to pagans. Though while that
Your
may have been the
drip
case in
sucks,
the 13th
lol.
century, by the 14th century,
Your drip
fancy shoes
sucks.
called
Look at
crocos
that.
had become all the rage. And just like modern-day Crocs have their haters, though I do wear them in the kitchen because they are so comfortable. So
Yeah,
too did Crocos
it
have their
is
haters.
comfortable, yeah.
In 1394, the monk of Evesham described those accursed vices 1/2 a yard in length. Thus it was necessary for them to be tied to the shin with chains of silver before they could walk with them. There are also stories where the point was so long that they came up and curved so high that they couldn't use stairs anymore. So maybe it's not the most sensible shoe wear for a warrior monk. Now, wearing their white garments and sensible shoes, they would read a bit of scripture before sitting down to eat. And they would always eat together, specifically paired up in a sort of accountability system. Because of the shortage of bowls, the brothers will eat in pairs, so that one may study the other more closely, and so that neither austerity nor sacred abstinence is introduced into the communal meal. And so your buddy didn't drink too much. You were supposed to make sure that he and you got the exact same amount of wine. And often, that wine would be watered down. For Solomon said that wine corrupts the wise. Though after a few glasses of wine, I always feel a little more wise, or at least more willing to give my unvarnished opinion on things, which I guess isn't the same. Now, what was served to the knights was completely dependent on the day of the week and the time of year. It should be sufficient for you to eat meat 3 times a week, for it is understood that the custom of eating flesh corrupts the body. Though as corrupt as it was, they really cherished these meat-eating days, and if a
water
day
than
of
wine,
fasting
disgusting.
ended up on one of those days, they would double up the meat portion on the next meat day. And on Sundays, all the brothers of the temple, the chaplains, and the clerks shall be given 2 meat meals in honor of the holy resurrection of Jesus Christ. And the
Hey,
squires
sounds like
and
we're...
sergeants
No,
will be
shut
content
up,
with 1
Captain,
meal
shut up.
and shall
No,
be thankful
shut up.
to
No
God
more
for it.
brown water. No,
You'll
shut
get
up.
1 meal of meat and you like it. Now on Monday,
No.
Wednesday, and Saturdays, they got 2 or 3 meals that were pretty much all vegetables, legumes, and bread. Then on Fridays,
you
they had
you're
to
gonna eat
Lenten meats, that is
vegetarian
to
whether
say
you like it or
fish,
not.
or any of the meats that the medieval mind considered fish.
What the
like
hell is
puppet
that?
Or beaver. And with the
What,
exception
that
of just
beaver
a few
with
days
what
like
fish?
Christmas,
Like, what?
From All Saints Day in early November all the way to Easter, usually in April, you had to fast pretty much every day, which meant 1 meal. Though if you were sick, you
Oh
didn't
my
have to
god,
follow
that's
any of these rules,
terrifying.
and you pretty much got to eat as much meat as you wanted. Now, during the meals, there were a lot of rules on how the knights should behave.
Big ass rat.
Unlike most monks who had developed a sort
That's
of
supposed to
sign
be a
language
beaver,
so
by
that
the
they
way.
didn't have
So
to talk at
that's
meals,
terrifying.
the knights would quietly and privately ask for what you need at table, with all humility and submission. Each brother may give some of the food in front of him to the other brothers around him as far as he can stretch his arm, but no farther. Or what today we would just call good table manners. And they had some other good table manners as well, like a need to wash your hands before coming to the table, a need to wash the table itself before putting any food directly on it.
Hygiene, okay.
And if
That's
you
clean.
had been working
That's clean. That's
outside
good.
with your hands, you weren't allowed to touch the food at all.
No,
They
yeah,
also
good.
used napkins. Though for
Hey.
some reason, on Good Friday, all the brothers should fast on bread and water and eat without a napkin. Does anyone out there know why that might be? Because I couldn't figure it out. I get that Good Friday is all about, suffering, and so I can see the bread and water, but no napkin? Seems odd.
You cannot clean yourself,
Now,
I
if you were at
suppose.
one of these meals, you might notice something odd.
Clean
and that
in
might
medieval
be
era,
one of the brothers
impossible.
sitting on the floor in front of everyone else.
You
while
doesn't know, man, the way of the
That would have
raccoon.
been
You don't
naughty,
understand.
because
You
sitting
don't
on the
believe
floor
enough.
while
You don't
you
have
eat
faith in
was the
raccoon.
penance for
That's
a
what you
minor
are.
sin. But if the fault is very serious, let him go apart from the company of the brothers, so that he does not eat or drink at the table with them, but all alone. Now, assuming you had not sinned and had finished the meal with your brothers, everyone would get up and go over to the church to say grace, and you would bring your partly eaten bread with you to give to the poor. Any whole loaves of bread you kept back and saved for the next day, because the poor just needed, the scraps, no new bread for them, I guess. Now, all this food that the knights were eating was generally procured and prepared by servants. In fact, there was very little that a knight could do to get food for himself. You couldn't accept any from a family member. That was forbidden. And if someone gave you some food, especially meat, because of a thank you for doing your knightly duties, you had to give it to the person with the coolest job title, Commander of the Victuals. I want that job title. And if you were tempted to go hunting, well, that was
no,
you could take some freshly
This is
vegetables
no.
out of a
I
field,
don't want
or
this.
go fishing. But hunting, no, especially not with a hawk or a falcon. You couldn't even be with someone who was hunting with a hawk or a falcon. They also should not go into the woods with longbow or crossbow to hunt animals, or to accompany anyone who would do so, except out of love to save him from faithless pagans. Those same pagans with the pointy shoes, I would assume. Though there was one exception to the no hunting rule, and this exception definitely would have only applied to the Knights Templar rather than other monks, because of where the knights tended to travel. The prohibition of hunting is by no means intended to include the
That's a
lion,
lion?
for he comes encircling and searching for whatever
What the
he
hell?
can
Why?
devour, his hands against every man, and every
That's
man's
a lion.
hand
What
against
kind of
his.
fucked
And
up
it's not just
lion
the
like
lions.
this?
Foreign
What is
travel in
that?
general had to be addressed.
For you reckon
And
trying to
if
clean
the
cotton
knights
candy
were
with
away
puddle
from
of
the
water.
monastery, they were supposed to try
Lion
to follow
meat.
the rules, especially around meat and
Dang,
wine,
Simba,
as
man.
closely as possible. But not for any religious reason, but so that they may receive a good report from outsiders and not sully by deed or word the precepts of the order.
Probably
It was
becomes
like
secret
when you
water.
go over to a friend's house for dinner and your mom would say, you better be on your best behavior so you don't embarrass us. Though my mom never added the addendum, the house where you take lodging should not be without light at night, so that shadowy enemies may
That's
not
my
lead
uncle's
them to
dog.
wickedness. And exactly what wickedness that is, they don't say, but I'm guessing women were on the list. The knights were really weird about women. They were not supposed to talk to women at all, as the company of women is a dangerous thing. It specifically says you are not supposed to, under any circumstance, kiss a woman, including your mother, sister, aunt, or any other.
That one just
but
rough.
Again, they had major issues with a lot of things. Here you have the most fearsome warriors of medieval Europe, and they were treated like children. No brother may bathe, let blood, take medicine, go into town, or ride a horse without permission. No brother may shorten his stirrup leather, nor his sword belt without permission. No brother may throw his lance without permission, nor may he repair his sword without permission. Let no brother have letters from his relative or
You
any
are not
other
allowed to
person,
scratch your
but
ass
if
without
he has
permission. Yeah,
permission
right.
from the commander, the letters
No
may be
woman,
read
guys. I'm
to
starting to
him.
think the monks are
So yeah, maybe this lifestyle lets you
That
live
is always
a few more
loyal.
years longer than the average person.
No girls allowed. No
Was it
girls,
really
no
worth
fans allowed.
I'll
That's
let you
rough,
be the
buddy.
judge of that, while I judge this boar with cameline sauce.
All right,
So
we were
once your
talking
sauce
about
is reduced
boar.
by about
I almost
half,
forgot.
Whisk in the salt and the sugar and let it simmer for 5 more minutes, or until it's the thickness that you want. Now, this is never going to become as thick as like a ketchup, but it will be as thick as like a barbecue sauce. Then slice the boar and drizzle the sauce on top. And here we are, wild boar with cameline sauce.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And according to Le Viandier de Tavant, it is best served with roasted chestnuts, so I have a few of those as well. And I'm going to eat this with a little wine that I had left over. Now, if I was a Templar knight in the Holy Land, I might drink something called the Elixir of Jerusalem, which was palm wine mixed with aloe and hemp, and may have acted as a bit of a medicine to help healing. But I don't have palm wine, so I'm drinking grape wine.
That's the cup of a carpenter.
It's just brass.
That's
so
not,
it is
nah,
just
that's
cup
not
of
it.
carpenter. Getting
No,
a lot
that's
of the
not it.
sauce because that's the flavor that I'm curious about.
But this looks like something my sister would make herself. I don't know. Is it good?
So I could see this as a modern sauce. Absolutely.
Okay.
It's like a fancy...
Pero no, pig tastes different though. That's why I said it's a wild pig.
It's so much more spiced and not as sweet. so it just seems a little fancier. But it has the texture of barbecue sauce. It has a lot of the same flavor profile, especially if you add in a little bit of that vinegar. It gives that certain zing. It's really, really good. Also, the boar is excellent. The crust on the outside, I think it's kind of necessary because now it's not dry at all. It's wonderful because it's not fatty. Like, there is no fat on this meat. It's all muscle, but if you do it right, it doesn't get dry. And it's really, really wonderful. I need to start getting more boar. I like game meat. So I definitely suggest making this. You could really make the sauce with any kind of meat that you want. And if you do the unboiled kind, then that's really good with fish, especially with a little bit of that vinegar to kind of give it an astringency. Really, really nice. So again, make sure you're subscribed to Tasting History, like this video, and I will see you next time on Tasting History.
Okay, so yeah, that's the end of the video. So that's all. We already watched 4 of them. And yeah, my conclusion. So as for my conclusion right now, the shit and the shingle passable. I can try, and probably like it. I can probably like it, right? The pudding, I want to give it a try. Actually, the pudding, I want to give it a try. It's actually, the pudding actually like looks delicious, and Max did said it's delicious, so I want to give it a try as well. The coffee, fuck that. Don't even ask. This boar, it's pig. I don't really like pig that much, but passable. You definitely hate the coffee. Yeah, I did have the coffee. Yeah. So yeah, that's good enough for today. That's the end of the stream for the watch long for today. Thank you so much for joining the watch long, guys. Thank you so much for joining the stream as well. And I would like to give another thanks for Max Mira from Tasting History for letting us watch his content. So if you guys interested in watching the original video, I put all of them in the description, so you guys can check it out. But yeah, that's be the end of the stream for now. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for the stream. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And yeah, I'll see you guys I'll see you guys tomorrow for Team Forest video stream with other people that I invited. So yeah, that'll be the end of the stream for now. Thank you so much for the stream. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye. Actually, I wanna say one more thing. Actually, like I said, I'll be having a hiatus in next week, right? So Angel will be taking my place for the whole week. I have you guys for new people. Angel is my moderator, like since 2021, right? He's been like my moderator since not 21, actually 22 to 23. He's been moderator for like one of my first moderator. I hope you guys treat him well, and yeah, be nice to him, okay? He's still a pretty young guy, so yeah, be nice to him. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you so much for the stream. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye bye.